I've got bruised souls, cause I'm way grown, trying to find my way back home. Count my bones as in desert crumbs flow. Don't turn all of my stones.
Rock bottom make a man and some pressure make a gemstone. Trying to put $1 to my name like Creflo. Elijah boy, late to the game, it's in the blood flow. And I'm from the south, it's thick skin and tough bone. Big attitude through big lips with gusto. Trust no kings, that's why they tried to crush souls. But it's IGBO, when the dust blow, this old head be standing there. No silver, just gold. Crack no books on the hustle, I was born to grind. Yo, scared of your potential, I'm adorned with mine. 30 times around the sun, man, of course I shine. My legacy will not dwarf with time. And in my daughter's eyes, it's basic, I must not say quit. Every day sees a present like a Rob St. Nick. Walk a fine line between tenacious and patient. I can't slip, I'm fighting clocks and they can't win.
I've got bruised souls, cause I'm way grown, trying to find my way back home. Count my bones as in desert crumbs flow. I'm gonna turn all of my stones. I've got bruised souls, cause I'm way grown, trying to find my way back home. Who that soldier in the mirror? Oh, oh. I'm gonna turn all of my stones.
Impeccably I flow, hardest raps you know, breaking status quo, reaping what I sow, artistry like Van Gogh. Get it from my mama, hip so thick that I need tempo. Personality, spicy body banging like a bongo. Cause black women been it since Timbuktu, since Pharaoh. Sponge rollers and hot combs, lips, cheeks and brow bones. If you ain't for the culture, then please stay out of my zone. These little dummy rappers could never grace my headphones. See, I'm from a place in space where ain't no storytelling, you just had to have been there. If you want the battle, ain't no problem, stay where I got so much experience, I can't even play fair. But I'ma keep evolving and growing and hurting feelings and showing you need endurance to go in. I got mileage on this pen, I've been busy cause I've been out here schooling all these kids. Took 3 decades to have this glow up that I did.
I've got bruised souls, cause I'm way grown, trying to find my way back home. Count my bones as in desert crumbs flow. I'm gonna turn all of my stones. I've got bruised souls, cause I'm way grown, trying to find my way back home. Who that soldier in the mirror? Oh, oh. I'm gonna turn all of my stones. Turn all of my
to see if he was barefoot. Is that still the case? Is he barefoot? Because I know on Facebook somebody posted a picture of these could be his shoes, or is that so he is presumed to be barefoot at this point?
What I can say is that his mom says all of his shoes are accounted for at the house. I'm not going to say that he's barefoot.
All right.
Allegedly!
Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Lady Freedom here coming at you with another raw narrative. Here's a brief disclaimer for tonight's show. Let's watch.
That's ignorant! Allegedly, that's ignorant! Ignorant.
Judgment, Arthur.
Chloe, you read my thoughts. You've got the shinin.
You mean shining?
Shh, you wanna get sued?
Judgment, Arthur.
You just use that shin of yours to call me and I'll come a running. But don't be reading my mind between 4 and 5. That's Willie's time.
Hey, yo, boss. I love it when he does that.
Let's watch.
Don't get me back to good bullshit. Everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Lady Freedom here coming at you with another raw narrative, and it's so good to see you guys tonight. Thank you all so much for being here. I had a show earlier. We did a great show. I never listened to the shows, of just me talking, but I kind of wanted to, listen in. It's making me want to go listen into, see everything that we've all talked about. And I apologize. I have to put my other earbud in. There we go. That's probably a little bit better. And so I was watching a little bit too on the break, and we put a really good show on, guys. So there was a little boy that went missing in Clarksville, Tennessee, 3 years old, right? Tyler Hall is his name. And he was found later in the same home he was reported missing from, in the attic, right? So there was, like a
I don't want to say a stairway. It was like a ladder that was glued to the wall, is basically what it looked like, in my opinion. And it led right up to that little space, right? And later he was found there. So they're still investigating, but we did a live stream on that earlier. So definitely go check that out, because we did kind of compare some of the search efforts in the beginning to Sebastian Rogers' case, which I found to be very interesting. And so I wanted to pull a video in from Matt Thibodeau. So we did that earlier today. So definitely go check that live out. We had a guest on panel who is Libra, our friend Libra, who will be doing some guest appearances with us. And he helps me a lot on the production side of things, as well as, my new avatar. He did this new avatar. So I thought that was really awesome of him. And so I switched it over. I tried to change my banner. I couldn't. But there you go. There's my new avatar there. And hey, Sandy, good to see you. Or Sassy T, good to see you. And so thank you. Thank you. Oh gosh. Yeah, I know. I'll tell you, I try to do videos and, Sandy, because you were with me like from the beginning when I used to just only do videos, right? But if you want to make any money whatsoever on YouTube, you have got to do all the things. Like, you cannot just go live once a day and expect to make anything on here. um, it's crazy, but I enjoy it, and there's always something to talk about. It seems like, even in Sebastian's case, which is, going on 2.5 years now. I can't believe I'm saying it. And Scranton is here. Good to see you, Scranton. So yeah, guys, we're just, and also it helps too having co-hosts or open mics and things like that. So hello, Kiki. Well, hey, if you want to come up, I have the link. If anybody wants to come up tonight, please feel free. It's open mic night, just to kind of get some other perspectives, right? Because I really like having guests now. I had a lot of issues in the beginning with guests, and so I swore off guests forever. I'm like, I'm not having anybody. I'll just do my own thing, right? But here lately, some opportunities have presented themselves. And, one is a good friend that I met in Hendersonville at Pigfest. And she is Jennifer Aaron, who's been coming up on panel and talking to us. We're going to do a special live stream on Sebastian on Saturday and talk about some of the effects of the deny attack and reverse offender and victim. And it's a whole thing that we talked about. Again, you guys definitely, go check that live out, because it's packed full of information. And I recommend picking up a copy of Jennifer Aaron's book. Now, her book is going to be also available at Barnes and Noble, but she's working out the details. But I know that when we did our murder mystery game, I was able to send a copy of Jana Lewinsky, Leidiger. I always say her last name wrong, and I'm so sorry. But she also had a book, and I sent a copy of it to Rob Beanie, because Rob Beanie won our trivia, I think it was actually the murder mystery. Excuse me, I said it right the first time. But I love doing that, so I want to do something like that when she gets all the details ironed out, and have a book giveaway of her book, because I'm here to tell you, and I'm just going to pray that the right person wins it, right? And if you've never gone through something like that and you know someone who could use that book, please give that book to a friend. You have my full permission to do it, to regift it, right? Because people say regifting is not a good thing, but I think in that regard it would be. Look, we see all the time these cases with domestic violence, and it's so heartbreaking, especially when it ends in someone losing their life, especially when it's a young person who loses their life. And we've dealt with that in our own community here, right? Recently, with the passing of Cole Harris, who is Mr. and Mrs. E's son. And I posted a prayer the other day, but I've just been reluctant to do anything just yet, right? I think it's a good idea to post their GoFundMe. So I wanted to do kind of something like that on a post again because um, today I went over and read the obituary for Cole, and I also saw a great post on Facebook from his school where he graduated high school, and it was very nice to see and learn about him and some fun details that I had never known. Right, and I did get the chance to meet Mr. and Mrs. E when we went to the gathering. You know, I think that it's always good if you can, and don't regret it like I do, but I regret not being going to the dinner, but it's not like I had control over it, right? Like I was riding like really, really close, right? When I was traveling, I was like riding like, living on the edge a little bit, right? Like, do I have enough money? Am I gonna have enough gas to get home? What's gonna happen to me? I do not want to have to hitchhike and ditch my rented car, right? Just to get home. So, and also I was staying kind of far away from where the dinner was going to be, right? Because we had a little bit of a drive back to where we were staying. Hey, Kylie's Nail Candy. Welcome in, Dragon Tribe. I'm glad you guys are here. I'm sorry if I don't get to say hello to everybody. Drop a comment for me yet, and I will. Because, guys, it's been a really rough couple days. Like I said, I was lucky enough to meet Mr. and Mrs. E. I so wanted to meet them because I knew who they were from Sebastian's case, and I just think they do such a good job. They have an awesome podcast. Aunt E is just so funny. I just love her to pieces, and they're just very nice people. They are such nice people. Let me tell you. So life is so short, guys. Don't, go to the dinners, go to everything. I don't care what you have to do, but do everything because, we hate to regret these things and life is way too short. And I know a lot of you guys have dealt with um, losing loved ones to cancer or watching them be sick. And it is just an awful, awful situation, right? Every time we take that chance of loving someone, we have to take that chance of losing that person, right? And you can love somebody from afar. You don't have to be right there with them, right? You can still love them and you don't have to be there with them. But what I'm trying to say is it's so difficult when it's your child, right? Because I mean, it's not like losing a spouse. It's not like even, losing a parent, which I have lost my mom and I was my mom's caregiver. So I totally fully understand that process, but from a different perspective, right? A daughter versus a mother. And I would not want to trade that. And I know I'm safe to say that my mom, like I was thinking at some points, do you love her more than me? Right? And my daughter, I'm talking about, right? Because my mom would just be like, oh my gosh, I just love her. She's like, I don't care about you. You don't matter. This is the one, right? But it did teach me that also, right? Because I was like, do you love you just like, but it's something that there's no words, right? Fuck cancer, Bo. Like, I'm just gonna say it, night court. Fuck cancer. Fuck it in any other direction than my own. It can choose whatever direction it wants to go in, right? Like maybe back to hell where it belongs. Maybe we can go back to hell where it belongs, right? But I mean, even and I don't talk about it a lot here, right? Because we do true crime and this is not a show about me. You guys aren't here to listen about me. But my best friend and his wife and his granddaughter, who I was babysitting for before I moved, is battling leukemia. And it's absolutely awful to see such a sweet, happy little baby girl going through it. And, I'll just never understand it. Well, hello, Jilly. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. Hey, Libra. I have the link. You know what? I'll drop it too if you would like to come up. I'm just doing open mic. So, and again, guys, you guys are more than welcome to come up and speak your piece. We'll do open mic night court. So, yeah, guys, just a lot has gone on in the last couple days, and my heart goes out to the E's. Um, we dealt with a tragedy with Tony not too long ago. Hello, Miss Anne. Good to see you. Hey, Brad. Why isn't there a cure for cancer? It's because there's no money. There's no money for that, or in that. And then also, I think it's because there's so many different types as well, and sometimes cancer can be very sneaky, and that's what they're telling my friends, that their granddaughter has a very sneaky type of leukemia. And so they thought that she was okay, but then it turns out she wasn't. And so she did. So really went through it. She really did. Oh, Libra's backstage. Let's see. Here we go. Hey, Libra, how you doing?
Hello. How are you doing? How's everybody doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you. Sorry, I was muted. Good to have you up. Yeah, Jilly, it's hard, right? It's just hard. Cancer sucks, guys. There's no good way to, put it really, and that's why I just say F it. But it is. It's very difficult. Um, I think the best thing we can do, guys, because they do have a GoFundMe, and they never ask for anything, so it's not like you know they're just really nice people, and they give of their time and their hearts to be at the events for Sebastian, and just do whatever they can. I know, Sassy, it's really really tough. Like I said, I found out after my live Libra, whichever day we did a live, and I didn't go. Oh, it was just yesterday, actually. Yeah, that's right. Or excuse me, the day. No, it was the day before. Sorry, and then I took a day off. So, oh gosh, Brad, I'm so sorry. Brad says my grandpa passed away in 2000 from colon cancer, and I still remember how yellow he was when he died. Yeah, and it's so sad because it is a very hard um, ending, right? It is like on Earth, and it is. It's very sad, and the medicines are really what make people very very sick also, so it contributes to them just going through pure hell on earth, and it just breaks my heart. um Thank you, witchy mama, thank you. Miss Anne thinks they do have a cure for cancer, but they just won't give it to us. Well, that very well could be, Miss Anne, you know so yeah, Jilly, I didn't know. Not that the person who told me was a very reliable source, but the other or but I also don't trust anybody. Trust no one. So I had to see it for myself, and unfortunately, when I went to look, um, yeah, Bo, it is like they thought she was in remission. That's how sneaky it was, and then oh, turns out she wasn't. Um, yeah, it's horrible. Hey, Michelle. Kylie's Milk Candy says, I have a very interesting video I think you may want to watch. Oh, really, Kylie's Milk Candy? Well, did you send it to my email? I haven't had a chance to check it. Um, I just haven't checked it. Yeah, because the big pharma doesn't want to cure it, in my opinion. I agree, Sassy. Little Miss Sharon says, hi, Libra. Yeah, and Marion, I
Hi,
think
little Miss Sharon.
I think that you're right about that. I think that the cure comes from not the pharmaceutical companies not wanting it, right? Because all the medications, everything that you have to take. Kiki believes Miss Anna's right.
The
Yeah,
cure was here before the cause.
yeah, absolutely. Witchy says sleepers in the house.
Woo! Cowabunga! I'm ready to eat some pizza already, and I'm craving pizza. But yeah,
Well, Jilly, I hope that your sister.
let's
Uh,
go.
Jilly says my sister is being treated for cancer now. Um, yeah, and I hope that everything works out there too. Hey Tam, good to see you, Tam. Thanks for being here. I was grieving so bad for my grandpa. I got bad for my health and I had to go to a psychiatrist hospital. I mean, Brad, I know it is the hardest thing to go through, or one of the hardest things to go through, and I'm sorry that you had to deal with that. I'm so sorry. So, aw, thanks, Sassy. Says Brad must be a beautiful soul. We do like our friend Brad around here. He's a very nice person. Bo wants to know what you've been smoking on, Libra. I think we're having a connection thing or something is going on. Hold on, let me check. Huh. Oh shoot, it looks like okay, hold on, maybe he'll come back up. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Okay, here we go. I just texted him. We took the link again. Hey Laura, Dragon Tribe, I lost my only son in 2018 to colon cancer, and watching someone go through that and not be able to do anything is the worst. It is. It is, Laura. You're right. And I'm so sorry that you had to go through that. It almost seems like people will get cancer at some point in their life too, because it's almost like it seemed like it was rare that you would hear about people having it, but then all of a sudden it just seems like it has really. I mean, at a certain point there was about four people. um Bo says Libra, I'm kidding, come back. There was four or five people at that time that I heard that were diagnosed, all at the same time. And I'm like, what is this? What is going on? And sometimes people think it's like, the things that we're breathing, the air that we're breathing, and all of that kind of stuff. So, um, and okay, I did get it, Kylie. I'm just looking now, too. Um, it's very normalized, Holly. You're very right. It's almost like you hear about it all the time when we didn't before. It's very odd. Well, there's a couple of dads out there, because I'll tell you, I watch those crime shows quite a bit when I'm, doing other things. And I'm here to tell you, oh, good, great, Kiki. I would love to have you up on panel. Um, it's crazy how many moms and dads do it. Like we were talking, Jennifer, Aaron, and I'm like, this DV stuff, right? Or this I always say it wrong, inter-partner relationship violence, and going back and forth is very difficult, right? For women, we see it more often with women, but it's definitely a human problem more than it's just, you know, a, guy on guy, or excuse me, a guy on a girl, or a girl on a guy, right? It's just, you see that, and then you also see it in other relationships, like where there is a same sex relationship, and you see it there too. So it's definitely a human problem and a relationship problem. And so yeah, it's just unfortunate, and we see it in the same thing with in the same way with true crime. It might be more predominant with males, but more and more we're seeing these women come out, and the Chester Cheetahs of the world, right? Like these ladies who are Chester Cheetahs, and they are doing these things with little ones, right? And they're teachers, and they're people who have access to children, and it's just, it's so awful. um so yes. No, Brad, you got it. And Travis Decker, that was so horrific and awful. What he did to those little girls, absolutely awful. So, oh, hey, Kiki's backstage. Hello, Kiki. How are you?
Knock knock. I'm pretty good. How are you doing? Can you hear
Oh,
me?
I'm sorry, Kiki. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yes.
Oh, I said knock knock. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good. No,
Yay.
I heard you talking about, cancer is horrible. You
Mhm.
lost your you lost your was it both your parents to cancer or your mom?
Oh, my mom. Oddly enough, Kiki, my aunt was also diagnosed. I didn't want to like really say it, but since you're asking, yes, and my aunt was diagnosed like a couple weeks after my mom found out that
Wow.
she had cancer. Her sister found out
Wow.
that she had cancer too. So, I mean, my aunt is still alive, but my mother
Wow.
did not make it.
Yeah, my dad, you know the story. It wasn't the cancer that took him out. He had the non-Hodgkin's lymphoma.
You said
And
that was your dad? Your dad?
yeah, he fought for 14 years. And then he went, he had an emergency situation, had to go to the ER. And I think he was just dehydrated, um, needing fluids because he had had chemo 2 days prior. And they had given him a antibiotic that he was allergic to for 3 days. And I had caught that and I had asked them to help him. They gave him Benadryl, didn't even give him, the epinephrine,
Mhm.
the story. But he ended up passing away after 14 years of fighting. And I remember specifically one thing that they told my dad when he was diagnosed with cancer, that leukemia and lymphoma, and I'm not a doctor, don't take my medical advice, but leukemia and lymphoma will never actually go away. It's a blood cancer that stays and it goes in and out of remission. So in and in dormant, basically.
Mhm.
So,
So you're not
but
really fully in remission.
no, you're never fully there. Even though they say remission, there's still a chance of it coming back unless you do the bone marrow transplant and you have a higher risk. And when my dad was diagnosed, it was like he was 60, I think, maybe a little younger, no, 60s. And they told him he was too old to have the transplant. It was insane.
What?
But
What do you mean they wouldn't give it? Hold on, wait. They wouldn't give it to him
no,
because he
they
was
wouldn't
of his age?
because of his age. Yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
So that's when my mom transferred doctors, of course, but they still
Sure.
wouldn't do, they said that, he had been through so many rounds of chemo and stuff that they said that his body was like the body of a 90-year-old and that they wouldn't think he would make it through a transplant anyways at that point. But they also, now this is a fact, this is what the doctors told us, but I'm not a professional. They said that cancer feeds off sugar. And they said the worst thing for a person diagnosed with cancer or even prior, they asked my dad if he ate a lot of sugar before he was diagnosed. And he said, yeah, little Debbie cakes. He ate boxes upon boxes. They said that's one of the worst things that can cause lymphoma.
Wow.
hmm I know that sounds crazy, but if you think about it, if you have a PET scan after you've been diagnosed with cancer, they inject you with a dye that is sugar water. And so that sugar water collects where the cancer is in the body so that the skin will light up.
Oh, I didn't know that cancer thrived on sugar.
Yeah, yeah, it's insane.
Wow. So, and that's how they could tell where it's at. It's been
Because
so long since I've done like the research and everything on it because,
yeah, the dye allegedly is supposed to be kind of like a radiation, sugar water kind of thing. And so when they inject the dye, it goes straight to where the cancer cells are to light up to show you where the cancer is. That's from my understanding, in my opinion. Not a professional. I don't want everybody to think I'm a professional. I have a medical background and have a lot of knowledge and education about it, but I'm not a professional about it. So
yeah, I mean, it's been so long. I mean, I haven't really even, looked into anything except for the leukemia. And I did talk to Momming It Up because I know that she has some good resources, and also our friend Trishy too. So she helped with that too.
yeah, and I
Yeah,
don't
see
my
those. Yeah, I understand that part, show poodles, and I just can't believe they wouldn't do everything they could. That's what makes me so sad.
yeah, yeah. And also, what was I gonna say?
Oh, Kiki, I think you're muted, or can I just not hear you?
Did my headset go out?
Yes. Okay, sorry, I can
Okay,
hear you now. Sorry, I
sorry.
saw your bubble going, and I didn't want to.
You're fine. I'm trying to think of what I was gonna say and I forgot totally. I have a friend that has lymphoma, and it's amazing to me right now. She's in her 40s, and she has the same kind that my dad had. And the doctors are telling her, "Oh, we're gonna just watch these nodules and not treat them right now and see how you do." I said, I talked to her the other day. I said, talk to them about a bone marrow transplant. So she's going to talk to them about that. But another thing, I think a lot of it, the reason we're seeing so much of it, cancer, in my opinion, and some may say no, but I think a lot of the vaccinations that we get, back in the day, we got 12 vaccines, and now by the time a child is 1 year old, they get 32 vaccinations.
Oh, really? See, I
Yes.
didn't get vaccinated for COVID, and I'm not afraid to say it. I just didn't. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I just I didn't, but like I've obviously been vaccinated, as anybody would be at my age, born in
Yeah.
the 80s. I'm an 80s baby.
hmm Well, I'm a 70s baby, and back then, in a year's time, we received like 12 vaccines, and now it's 32. And if you notice, we see an increase and I know people will come at me, but we see an increase in autism, an increase in cancer, and all this, and not even Maybe even our foods too.
Hey Babs, yeah, I know. Well, and it is. I think I didn't know about the sugar thing, um, but I know that overdoing sugar is never good, right? And then both of my dad and my mom's, um, or excuse me, my dad's mom and dad both have diabetes, so I'm always like, I shouldn't probably eat a whole lot of sugar, right? So, and I don't really like sugary stuff. Like if I do even coffee, I don't add sugar if I do the flavored cream. So I try to cut it out as much as possible. But midday, I do like to have like a Coke or something. I can't lie. And sometimes I try to switch it for water.
Gotcha. Hang on just a second, lady. I'm sorry. I gotta tend to children. I'll be right back.
No worries, just mute it. Yeah.
Okay.
Um, But hey, Jen, good to see you. Good to see you. It's insane. Jabs are helping our kids learning curve. I have a whole theory about that, right? Yeah, I know. I know. And I think a lot of people do, Jen. I think a lot of people question it. It's just kind of like what I said with the cancer stuff. Like, why isn't everybody's getting it? And even these little kids, and what do we, what's in our environment? What are we drinking? What are we doing? Um, oh, Bo, I'm sending him the link. He wanted me to send it to him in a text, so I have to grab it. And now StreamYard is asking for my extra information. Bo, you didn't make him feel bad, Bo. It's not your fault. So, but yeah, I mean, it's just all bad, right? It's just they turn into sugars, and you know, um, I think things are good in moderation, and we were talking about that too. Well, and potatoes and stuff like that, even witchy, like some of the foods that we eat, we don't realize how high in sugar they are, right? And then like it's all about portions and stuff like that. So, um, but yeah, sorry guys, I'm getting the link, but it was asking for me to log in. So in my opinion, and if you eat too much sugar, yourself becomes resistant and say stop, I can't take anymore. Yeah, I believe that too. And insulin resistance and all of that kind of stuff as well. So guys, I'm gonna put on I'm just gonna stop eating, Bo. I like to eat too much to stop eating, altogether. So, because I like to cook and stuff, but there's healthier options. I mean, and it's more expensive, I guess, too. Um, I will say that, but it's also a lot of I think there's a lot of crap in processed foods and stuff like that. I wanted to pull in this interview, guys, since we were talking about the first 7 days and the first interview that Chris and Katie did. And I know we've gone over these interviews like a billion times. But just for the sake of what we were talking about earlier, I thought it would be interesting to pull that in. So just give me a second here. Um, Give me 1 second. All right. So I think I have it where I put, let's see, videos. Because I did a second one. I put it in the Proudfoot compilations that I did, when I called the Polished Turds series. And those were all of that kind of compiled. But I did one with just this interview. And I think it's interesting because it does talk about some of the weird stuff that they were asking for. um, when they scaled back the search. So this is like all of what was going on when they scaled the search back. Um, so I'm just gonna play this for you guys right now. There we go. Okay.
I want to talk to you guys about a case out of Hendersonville, Tennessee, that is Sumner County, and we have a missing 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers. And I spoke with his mom today on a telephone call, and I wanted to make sure that I gave you the latest update on what is happening in this missing case. Sebastian is 15 years old, and I want to get over here and share his missing flyer, because here on Duchess, we share the accurate information, all facts. We don't want to mislead people. I want to make sure that we're sharing out all of the information. And I want to also give a big shout out to Smiley and Trev Time and all the creators that are covering Sebastian's case. It turns out that I have a friend of my sister's who reached out to me. She sent me a text and said, "Hey, I just wanted to let you know that Sebastian's mother is my cousin. And I would really appreciate it if you could please talk about Sebastian's case and get his information out there. I appreciate all that you do." And she put me in touch with Sebastian's mom, and we did speak at length today. And I did record a few things that I think it's very important for you guys to know what's going on in this case. His mother, his father, and his stepfather are very, very worried about what is going on, what's happening. There has been a lot of search efforts. So I want to bring you up to speed on what I know that's happening in this case. For Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, please share to locate. Sebastian is age 15. He has actual light brown, sandy blonde hair. According to his mother, he has brown eyes. He is 5 feet 5 inches tall and weighs 120 pounds. Sebastian is considered endangered missing. He is from Hendersonville, Tennessee, and he went missing on Sunday, February the 26th of 2024. Sebastian has been missing today for 7 days. He was last seen near Beach High School on Stafford Court. He was last seen wearing a black sweatshirt and black sweatpants. Sebastian is autistic and he likes to hide under things. So TBI is asking residents who live near the search area around Beach High School along Long Hollow Pike to please check your outbuildings, your garages, your cars, and under your decks, anywhere where someone may hide and take shelter in case Sebastian used any of these as hiding places. And if you have seen or know about where Sebastian could be, please do not hesitate. Call the Sumner County Sheriff's Office at 615-451-3838, or you can reach out to TBI, which is the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, at 1-800-TBI-FIND. If you see this poster or any of the beautiful missing flyers that are circulating around for Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, please, please, please circulate that information around. You never know when somebody may see this young man out walking around. This is the area. As you can see, Sumner County is in the upper right-hand corner, so the search efforts have been extended at this point out to Robertson County, Davidson County, which is where the capital, Nashville, Tennessee, is located, and also in Wilson County, Tennessee. Here is another picture up close. The mother did tell me that she took this picture on Saturday when they were at the Costco.
Okay, guys, so I just wanted to point that out right there. I wanted to stop and just, see if Kiki had anything also to add to it. But, this is the picture that allegedly Seth said Katie was kind of pushing in his face and saying, see, he was happy, saying that the cost. So they told the same thing to Duchess, right? That this is a picture of Sebastian at Costco the day before, even though a lot of people were speculating and saying that they thought that Sebastian looked really very young in this picture, right? Like it wasn't a recent picture of him that they were using, an older one. Or excuse me, well, yeah, I mean not older in age, but an older picture of him than a more current picture. So I thought that was interesting as well. I think Kiki's probably Kiki. Are you there?
I'm here. Sorry.
Okay, there you go. No, you're fine. You're fine. I saw the back chat and I was like, oh shoot, did I see that too late? Sorry, I got a lot of a lot of stuff going at the moment.
No, my family demands around all the time, all hours of the night. The kids are like, hey, hey, mom, hey, mom.
Oh, no worries at all. I completely understand. So yeah, it's interesting that I don't know. Do you think that this is a picture that looks like it's close? I mean, I think it's closer to Sebastian. It is close to Sebastian's age. I just don't know if I think it's you know the day
I don't
before.
know.
I never really believed that, but
No, in my opinion, he almost looks like he's 13 there, around 13 or so. So it's like very
oh,
young
now
picture.
I think your headphones might be out or your earbuds
I'm sorry, lady. Can you hear me?
because I could barely hear you. Oh, okay. See, I don't know, you guys. I might be having trouble with StreamYard tonight for some reason. No, and he would have been just 15. He would have been just 15 at this point. Um, so oh, here, guys, let me go ahead. I'm gonna drop that so Kiki doesn't have to look. Hold on one second. There you go, Kiki. Sorry. And anybody that wants to grab the link, it's open mic, so you guys can go ahead. Anybody wants to come up is welcome to come up and listen to this. I mean, we've heard it before. Like I said, Babs asked when this was. It was March 3rd, 2024, where Chris and Katie went, right? And again, these are the things that we're going to dissect, right? So, no, no problem. I know, Kiki. I know. That's a juggling act, and even having a YouTube channel is definitely a juggling act as well. So, but yeah, it is very unfortunate, right, that we're having to go back and look at these. But we were talking about this earlier, right? The search that happened, and then they scaled the search back, and this is where we start getting interviews from the parents, right? And that's Chris and Katie Proudfoot, at their home, and then also Seth does interviews as well, which we've showed too here.
Looks like a brilliant young man, just full of life and energy. He looks very intelligent. She tells me he is a high functioning autistic. And I did ask them several questions because I like to get out the factual information. And I really appreciate it when the family is very forthcoming to give us all the information that we need to know. Apparently, the family has also let me know that there is a lot of misinformation that's going around, as well as the family is actually being attacked and harassed. So I have some clips that I do want to share with you guys because I feel like it is very critical for you to hear from the family about what has actually been going on. Now, the TBI is asking for people in this area around Beach High School to please search their property at a minimum of 2 times a day, according to the mother, in the morning and in the evenings, especially in case he has taken shelter somewhere and may be found sleeping. They're hoping that they're going to be able to find him somewhere. This is getting more critical by the days, Guy, because this is 7 days. that he has been missing. Of course, they have a command center that is set up here. Please, please, please share this information out. Such a sweet young man, and his parents are very, very worried, and they're likely listening to this live stream right now. I see Trev Times coming to chat. Thank you for being here, Trev. I think he did a live stream earlier today when I was actually speaking with Sebastian's mom on the phone, and I missed your live stream, Trev, and I'm so sorry. But I was going to send you a message to let you know that she said if you would like to reach out to her, she would be more than happy to speak with you. I think they're working closely with the father, the stepfather, and the mom. So, there's not like a situation where, we have parents that are not speaking to each other. They're working very diligently, and they are trying to find the best strategy about coming forward, whether it be to the news or if they make a written plea. Please, if you know anything, come forward and let us know if you have seen Sebastian. And I see Chris in the chat. Thank you so much for being here, Chris. If you see Chris Proudfoot in the chat, that is Sebastian's stepfather. And
Okay, guys. So I just want to say that it's been alleged. There's a couple things that have been alleged. I'm not sure because I've not seen any type of like hard proof of this information, but I will say that I know for sure that according to this, Katie got linked up with Duchess because of her cousin, right? And she watched Duchess before this and said, hey, you can have them on your show. I would love for you to help. And then she kind of opened the doors to all of these other people like Trev Time and all of these other people to help out with Sebastian's case, right? So in theory, it would be good, right? Because you would want to go on and talk with a bunch of people. And I'm not sure how many people she had in her chat, but she probably had about 200 at least, I think, that night. I wasn't in there. Actually, Jen, I think you were in there. But either way, because like I told you guys, I didn't know about, I didn't know anything about how they did this interview. I thought the first interview was Holly Thompson interview. Hey, SI officer, good to see you. And Cinderella is here. So, yeah, that's pretty much how I see it. Oh, okay. Oh, I have Libra back here. Here we go. We got Libra back on. Hold on a second. Let me add him. Hey, Libra. Oh, see, we're having trouble with StreamYard tonight. That's so weird. Okay.
We really appreciate you being here, and thank you for speaking with me today. We just want to get out the most accurate information about your son so that we can hopefully help anyone to know all of the information about Sebastian so that we can make sure that he is found safely and that he comes back home, because I know that you and his mom, miss him very much. Absolutely, Trev. I will put you in touch with him. I will message you after this live stream. And Trev, if you want to come up on panel and talk about this, I would be happy to send you a link. The family really does appreciate everyone that is sharing Sebastian's information. I really do want you to hear from the family. When I talk with people on the phone, I automatically just record conversations in case there's information that I miss. And I did ask permission from Sebastian's mother if I could play specific clips on information that they would like for the public to know, because they did tell me that there is some misinformation that's going around and they wanted to clarify a few things. And there is some things that they can't speak on right now, but when they're ready to come forward, they will do so, and they will let us know if there's any updates that's going to be happening. Sebastian does need his medication, so this is a critical situation. I've also made a phone call to my very good friend Brad with Wings of Hope, and hopefully be able to arrange a search and rescue team that can go down there to assist in the search and rescue efforts to help find Sebastian. So we are keeping our fingers crossed that Brad is going to be able, if he's not able to do it, he is going to try to reach out to some other search and rescue teams that might be able to send in more manpower, because we need all hands on deck. If you know any search and rescue teams, if you are in the state of Tennessee, don't hesitate to reach out. I do have the information. Let me look that up real quick. I did screenshot that. Ken Widener is the director of Sumner County EMA in Gallatin, Tennessee, and I do have his email and work number. So if anyone does need that information, if you will just email me, or if you can reach out to me on Facebook, I will also give that information to Trev. You can reach out to Ken Widener to help coordinate those efforts. Trev says, I'm waiting to get the go-ahead that way, and I'll be joining the search as well. Trev, we really appreciate you. If you guys are local to this area and you can go out and volunteer your time to help this family in any search or any type of efforts that they have going on, I know this family would be so grateful for any help that you could offer them. I also did see a post today on WKRN News that stated anyone wishing to help the crews in the search for Sebastian Rogers can do so by donating goods at the command center at Shackle Island Volunteer Fire Department. And that was at this area where I showed you this picture earlier. And according to Sumner County fire buffs, current needs are toilet paper, Clorox wipes, trash bags, and energy drinks. And you can actually find this post on Facebook. And that drop-off address is 3199 Long Hollow Pike. And that's in Hendersonville, Tennessee. So if you guys are local to that area and you can go by and bring the search and rescue teams extra things that they need to have on hand, I know people would be really, really appreciated it.
Hey, good afternoon. I'm Eric Craddock from the Sumner County Sheriff's Office, and I'm the Chief Deputy here, joined by Ken Weiner, the Director of Sumner County EMA. Wanted to come to the public and give you guys an update on the search for Sebastian Rogers. Last Monday morning at about 6:30, Sebastian was reported missing from his home. Since then, we've conducted an extensive and exhaustive search around the home, looking for any evidence, any trace of Sebastian. At this time, the decision's been.
Okay, guys, so this is where they scale back the search, and this is the part I wanted to watch again too, because I put it in this, in the same video that I made, right? And this, it was an old video that I made, but it's showing them scaling back the search and that sort of thing. So I wanted to bring that in because that's kind of where we left off on our live today. So, yeah, I know, Eric Craddock. I know, guys. I see the tomatoes in the chat. People throwing tomatoes. Hey, Shadow, good to see you. So, yeah, I wanted to show this part because, again, it's very strange that we still have Duchess asking for some items to send, even though they scaled back the search. She's talked to the parents. We have Eric Craddock here acting very strange, like he usually does. But, he's a little bit more open and he looks a little bit more defeated because we saw him earlier, right? Day 4 press conference. Now he's coming out to talk about how they're scaling back the search, and he just doesn't seem like he's as hateful as he was earlier. We'll just say that.
To scale back on the ground search operations. Let me be clear that this does not diminish our commitment to finding Sebastian. This is simply us transitioning from the ground search to the investigative side. We are still committed to finding Sebastian and bringing him home safe.
So they scaled back the search for Sebastian Rogers on March 4th, 2024, but they were still asking for toilet paper, Clorox wipes, trash bags, and energy drinks, just to switch it over to the investigative side. They were no longer doing ground searches for Sebastian Rogers. What is that? And just look at the items that were requested: toilet paper, Clorox wipes, trash bags, energy drinks.
We have no leads, no details to indicate that Sebastian is not alive. We are going to follow up on every lead. We have a planned response if anyone has a sighting of Sebastian. Our patrol deputies will be out. Our investigators will be out. We are still coordinating with law enforcement across the state. We are still consulting with experts. This decision does not come lightly. We have consulted with, and I've deferred to the experts in search and rescue. Every time we've asked, they've said you've done everything you can do. At this time, Director Weiner?
Yeah. So we'll continue to have a command post at the fire station there. We won't man it 24/7, but we will have K9 units in the area. We'll have teams ready to go. The sheriff's office will have deputies on patrol, and if we get any report, we'll respond to that location. We'll send K9 to that location and search teams should we get any information. So we will continue, and any tips we get, we will reactivate to the level we need to respond with.
I'd like to take a moment and thank all the first responders from across the state of Tennessee that have come out and help us in the search for Sebastian. They've come from as far as Knox County. We've called in the state National Guard to help. The Army National Guard was here to help. If there was a resource we thought we could utilize to help locate Sebastian, we've used it. And we will continue to do so based on the leads that come in. The Sheriff's Office continues to urge families to check your properties, to check your cameras. No detail is too small. If you have a detail that you think is important, please call 615-451-3838. Thank you.
Let me go over here. I see that I just got a text. And Chris, are you down for a Q&A? You want to do that? I know that we talked earlier and you were thinking about, you were going to let me know if you want to come up and speak. I am more than happy to send you a link and you can come up on the live stream, or you can call me on the phone and everyone can hear you via the telephone.
Okay, guys, so I just wanted to keep this in context. I know this is a lot of detail and everything, but I do want to play it out. Now, when it comes to the toilet paper, right, because I see you guys in the chat. So the fire buffs were asking for toilet paper, right? And I thought that was strange, but they were also asking for like cleaning supplies. But we know, because we watched earlier, that they were sending over like different snacks and things like that for the firefighters and the first responders, anybody that was searching for Sebastian. So again, for them to ask for those types of items is very strange to me. In my opinion, it's very strange.
So you just let me know in the chat and we can certainly do that. I think it really helps people to hear exactly what the family wants the public to know, what the needs are, what you guys are going through. It really helps us in the true crime community that's sharing out the information to know exactly what's going on, because sometimes things on social media that get shared around are not always factual. I'm grabbing that StreamYard link right now. And Chris, I'm going to send you guys that StreamYard link on your Facebook Messenger. And if you decide that you want to come up and join Trev and I'd really like for you to meet Trev. He is a wonderful young man who covers lots of missing cases in the state of Tennessee. And I have a lot of respect for him. And I promise that he will do your case justice. And like I said, he is local to the area and he is willing to do whatever it takes to help these families. And
okay, guys, and knowing what we know now, right, is a different lens than what we knew to begin with. And again, this is why I think this is very important for us to revisit this again, right? I understand we've done it before. I've done the comparison with it, right? But it's important because all of this stuff was going on and all of these big people and players and YouTubers were brought into it very early on, right? And Trevor was one of Duchess's people, and then Trevor seemed like he was trying to help Seth, and he did the Nina interview, and now you cannot find the Nina interview anywhere on his channel or any page or anything, right? It's nowhere to be found. And what Nina told us was very important. Look, it's absolutely hard for me to watch. It's absolutely going to be horrible to go over it again, but we all are going to go over it again, right? We have to. We have to continue to dissect this stuff, right? And then also in with a new set of eyes that we didn't know things back then that we know now. So, you do, Sassy? Oh my gosh, if I could, because I pieced it up. When I showed it, I didn't put it out as a video. And as a matter of fact, it was really difficult for me to do it because of what she went through was so terrible. And so you did, Sassy? Oh my gosh, really? How did you do that? Is it fast though? Is she talking like really, really fast? Because I could slow it out, like I could slow it down. Um, I like to slow jam stuff, right? Just so we could see the micro expressions and things like that. Hello, my PTSD. Good to see you. So I just find it interesting, right? That this is the group that kind of started out and then branched out. And I'm not saying that people can't do that. They can go wherever they want to go, right? We don't keep people if they don't want to be kept, right? And stuff like that. But in the same way, I find it odd how everything seemed to have played out, and it seems like people were being spies and double agents. And yes, that's my tinfoil hat. I put it on for that comment because I know that sounds crazy, but we had a person that got in a relationship with Seth just to sleep with him, just to steal the CPS records. I've had a bunch of weird shit happening. Even tonight, I'm trying to do an open mic and it's like won't let people up here. It's dropping people. So again, it's very strange how it all played out. But yeah, Sassy, if you want to email it to me, I mean, I'm telling you that interview was hard to watch. She says she removed the crying. Yeah, that would help, right? Though, because oh my gosh, poor Nina. It's so sad. It's so sad the way that she had to deal with everything, the way she was dealing with everything. And Katie was in on it too. I mean, Katie was sitting there live streaming her sorrow, I don't know. It's very disheartening. And then taking her baby and, just dealing with all of that, and I know that a lot of people can relate to Nina. So yeah. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Sassy. I appreciate that very, very much. Um, it's probably a little bit easier to watch without the crying and stuff because it is tough. So that's probably, and thank you. I appreciate that very much. So yeah, again, we just don't know what has happened here with this group because it started here and then it branched out to Trevor and it branched out to all these people, but then they were also playing both sides. Now, some people might say, well, Lady Freedom, they were just trying to, find Sebastian. So whatever it takes, it's not about sides. And I understand that. But the people that we're dealing with in Chris and Katie are really toxic people. And so in dealing with a toxic person like that, it's not going to ever turn out the way that we want it to, in my opinion, right? Because we have Chris, he's extremely loud and acting crazy.
That is why I love having Trev on my team. So I'm going to send you that link to the mom's Facebook now, Chris. If you will look for that, if you click on that link, you don't have to sign up for anything. You can leave your camera off. You don't have to turn on your screen unless you want to. All of the members, I did speak to the parents also because I would like to maybe get some people together that might be interested in getting up a billboard for Sebastian in Hendersonville, Tennessee. We've put up billboards for Summer Wells. We've put up billboards for Tyler Doyle. We've put up billboards for Jaden Carpenter. So I think anything at this point would possibly help to locate Sebastian and get his face out there. And the mom said that that would be wonderful, whatever it takes to bring her Bubba home. And that's what we want to do, is we want to bring this child home safe. Okay, we have Trev here. Hey, Trev.
Good evening, Duchess. Thanks for having me up. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much for joining me. I'm sorry that I missed your stream earlier, but I was actually talking to the family, and I told them all about your channel and the wonderful work that you're doing for the missing, and that I wanted to connect them to you because I felt like that you might be able to give them some local resources and help.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, I'm in these. I mean, you know me well enough to know that in these kind of cases, whatever I can do, small, big, whatever it is, it's all about us all playing our part. And so I'm happy to help however
Absolutely.
I can, especially if it's here somewhere I can, I can be within driving distance ever get to.
Right.
For example, the cases here with the girls, and then now this case in Middle Tennessee.
Exactly. And see how I'm here in South Carolina, but I do have friends that live in Tennessee, and that's really important for me to just try to extend my reach. I know a lot of search and rescue people, and I make missing flyers myself, and it's good to have connections, because if I have a case, just like his mother's cousin reached out to me, she knows me personally, and I was like, well, I know a bunch of people that I can call on that will be able to help get this case out. So it looks like that we have them coming up on panel. So if you guys will please welcome Sebastian's parents to the live stream. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you joining us.
You're welcome.
We had a really good conversation today, and I appreciate you being willing to talk to me about Sebastian going missing. So I guess I will just kind of start out with, tell me what happened the day that Sebastian went missing. I know that his mom said that he was having a good day. He had had a great weekend. So do you want to walk us through what that looks like again for everybody?
He did have a really good weekend, actually. When we come home from having supper that evening, he was playing. When he went to bed, when I told him to go to bed, he said, "I love you, Mama," and he said, "I love you, puppies." A little later in the evening, I myself went to bed, and when I went to wake him up for school, he wasn't here.
Okay, so this is the first, right? This is the first interview that the parents are willing to do, because they weren't willing to come out in the first 7 days. Yeah, Cooper, I agree. A bunch of lies, in my opinion. If I would have heard this, I would have had all of my red flags up, right? I would have been like, what is going on with this mom? She's faking, right? She's feigning concern, and her voice doesn't sound like there's any genuine factor right there. Oh my gosh, yes, Witchy, we are a team. I'm going to tell you, I can't do any of this without you guys. All the stuff that you guys send over, all the stuff that we just can compile together, all of the ideas. And again, there's people that are in the bushes and maybe they're afraid to say something, or they haven't said anything, but they have a theory. I mean, we're more than welcome to listen to that, because it's important for everybody to get their ideas out there, right, on what happened to Sebastian. It's so crazy when I listen to this, because again, I wish I would have heard this first, and they decided to go on Duchess because they knew them. I get that part, or that's kind of the way the story goes. Thank you, Sassy. Thank you so much. But they decided to do the online thing, and then the very next day they do the Pollyanna Thompson video, right? The interview with her, and Katie is completely different, right? She actually seems like she's distraught, you know. Oh, thank you, Kiki, for your super chat. It says, and in my opinion, the cat lady behind Seth at the gas station looks like the Cullen car. Yeah, you know, I really wish that we knew what kind of make and model, at least, because I know Bobby said that they saw it, but or said that she had saw it or they saw it in the neighborhood. Um, but then it appears that something else happened there. And Holly, I forgot to shout you out for the members. I just went to the other tab. Sorry, I don't know. Like I said, I'm having issues with StreamYard, and it's weird because whenever I went to even get the link, it was asking me to log back in and gave me a pin and stuff. But thank you. So I miss this one, Holly. And Holly's been a member for 10 whole months. Gosh, guys, I'll tell you, it's always awesome to see that, and I always appreciate it so much because I look at how far the channel has come, and I'm just always amazed by that and very humbled by it too. Meg PTSD, thank you for the $5 super chat. Thank you for the refresh on this. I don't think I heard this video. Really? Okay, because I was like, I know, guys, I'm so sorry. I'm putting you guys through this again. But, you know, it kind of left off on what we were talking about earlier. So I thought it was important that we revisit it. So thank you, my PTSD. And yeah, there's a lot of information in these. And I think that some of it we can maybe even figure out where we're missing something, because we've all missed something, you know.
And you did tell me that Sebastian is not a runner.
He's not.
It's okay. Take your time.
Sebastian does not have a history of running. I mean, the young man doesn't go outside very much. I mean, everybody in the neighborhood knows him. He is very to himself, so to speak. Between the hours of 12 and 6, he has basically vanished. Walked out of the house, the door was locked, and gone.
He didn't take a phone. None of his shoes are missing.
Now, you told me that night that, now, Chris, you were at work. You were out of town at work,
Yes,
so you were not even home.
Correct, ma'am.
And Mom, you fell asleep on the couch about 10 o'clock, but you said that Sebastian went to bed at 9 p.m. And then you got up off the couch and you went to bed, and you said that was around midnight.
Midnight.
And nothing was unusual at that point. Everything seemed okay.
There's actually a piece of, so to make something very crystal clear, so that way there's transparency across the board. Me and the mom were on the phone at 9:43 or 9:46 in the evening. We stayed on the phone for quite some time. The call logs have been verified by all the police departments, TBI included. We stayed on the phone. It was very lengthy. Mom did slightly start falling asleep while she was on the couch. I had said, hey, you need to wake up, put the dogs up, go to bed. Now, mind you, that was right around midnight, just before midnight or right around midnight.
Mm-hmm.
So then Mom does go to bed and wakes up early in the morning to go wake her son up, get him ready for school. And now we have a worried mom who can't find her son in the house.
Okay, so yeah, crystal clear, numero uno, sassy, right? So mansplaining. Holly says mansplaining. Yeah. I hate hearing the crystal clear. It is like a definite trigger warning, right? Because that's when we first heard this was crystal clear Chris, right, on Duchess. Even if someone describing my water bottle, he's killed it for me. Oh no, my PTSD, I'm telling you. I know every time we hear crystal clear, we think Chris Proudfoot, don't we? Which is, I don't know if it's subliminal messaging or what. So he's absolutely mansplaining the situation, right? Or he's absolutely um talking for Katie, and she's kind of acting like she can't really talk, but he's talking for her. But he's also cleaning up a big mess, because even earlier we were talking about how there was a couple instances how at 12 o'clock people were saying that Katie saw Sebastian last at 12, but then she comes out and tells everybody, and he makes it crystal clear right here, because she said midnight, midnight, and we just heard that part. I'm going to rewind it really quick, but we just heard that part, and that's when he starts with the crystal clear.
About 10 o'clock, but you said that Sebastian went to bed at 9 p.m. and then you got up off the couch and you went to bed, and you said that was around midnight.
Midnight.
Okay. But just remember that before this, she was telling media, Main Street Media, it is a media outlet there in the Nashville area. She's telling them that, right? She's saying, oh, I saw him last at 12. And then we, heard the article earlier. So I just think it's very interesting, right? That now all of a sudden they're going on Duchess and repainting the narrative, right? And then Chris is making everything crystal clear.
And nothing was unusual at that point. Everything seemed okay.
There's actually a piece of, so to make something very crystal clear, so that way there's transparency across the board. Me and the mom were on the phone at 9:43 or 9:46 in the evening. We stayed on the phone for quite some time. The call logs have been verified by all the police departments, TBI included. We stayed on the phone. It was very lengthy. Mom did slightly start falling asleep while she was on the couch. I had said, hey, you need to wake up, put the dogs up, go to bed. Now, mind you, that was right around midnight, just before midnight or right around midnight.
Mm-hmm.
So then Mom does go to bed and wakes up early in the morning to go wake her son up, get him ready for school. And now we have a worried mom who can't find her son in the house. Mom made an effort to look and search several times. Mom has called me at the time and asked me, she was like, I can't find him. I was like, do what? She goes, yeah, I cannot find him. I said, well, hang on. I made the phone call and reported it to the sheriff's department because that's what we're supposed to do. And within 10 minutes, the sheriffs were dispatched to the location.
And you had told me that there hadn't been any particular situation that had occurred where you felt like there would have been something that happened. And I also had asked you if there were any friends that Sebastian might have possibly left the house with, or if he had any contact with anyone on social media. Do you want to comment about that again?
He doesn't have a social media.
Okay.
And the only friends that he had were a couple of kids in school.
Okay.
All of the kids that have had any interaction with him have been interviewed and asked.
Okay.
We as parents know how social media can be.
Right.
And seeing how kids can be easily manipulated.
He's very young in mind.
Yes, he may be.
Right.
He's about 15, and he's 15 in age in his body, but his mind is not caught up to his body. But that is something that goes through with autistic children, as everybody would know.
Right.
But for the record, I am a very strict parent. He does not have social media, not in our household. He doesn't online game. I'm pretty strict when it comes to that kind of.
Yes, my PTSD. And he did just say he called to report. It didn't mention and he didn't mention that three-way call. And I think, again, their stories evolved, right? So like the very meat and potatoes of their story is going to be like in the very beginning, right? Just kind of, but they add to it. So I think that's interesting too, right? Because they start adding details and they don't say that. Now, Duchess is going to have some people asking questions and she's going to ask some questions. So, we'll keep our ears and eyes open for some of that. But yeah, they definitely have a story that they're sticking to, in my opinion, and it's evolving as they go. Because again, we have to remember they were listening into a lot of this stuff and changing their story from there even.
Situation.
Well, that's I had asked you both, did you have any idea what would make Sebastian want to suddenly leave the house? And you told me, well, that's the $1 million question that everybody wants to know. All the detectives, they've all asked that same question. What is it that happened that caused him to leave the house? And I know you must be so worried and so concerned. Is there anything, if Sebastian were listening to this live stream right now, if you knew that he was out there, what would you want to tell him?
That we love you and to come home.
I mean, it's pretty simple. This boy has a very large family that everybody is asking the question, where are...
Okay, there's Chris for the save. Hey, Titch. There's Chris for the save, right? Katie starts with that, and he knows that nobody's going to buy it. So he gets back in there and starts talking for Katie. And I know a lot of people, and even myself, were blaming Chris and saying that he never let Katie talk. But then again, Katie is really ruining it for herself. And so he does step in a couple times in order to clean up the mess that she made.
Are you? We love you, and please come home.
Yes. Can you talk to me about the search and rescue efforts?
So currently, as of today, the National Guard was also brought in to help with the search. But they have had fixed-wing aircraft, helicopters, horseback ATVs, side-by-side, door-to-door, scouring every neighborhood possible. I mean, the outreach from the community and various counties has been extremely welcoming, loved. I mean, it's we've been told this is probably one of the largest searches that they've conducted with so much input that it's a case to be studied for sure.
You have a lot of people that are praying and supporting you right now. Would he be able to ride a city bus?
Nothing is off the table as far as abilities. Could the young man get on a bus? I'm sure he could.
We've never done it before.
We've never rode a city bus, so I don't think he understands the process. He doesn't have any sense of money. He may have, like, let's say, a $20 bill in his hand, but he doesn't truly understand what $20 would get him.
Right.
But he doesn't
I understand.
Time and money.
And Single Mom says, does he want his real father maybe? I'm just asking. Well, it turns out, Single Mom, that, he sees his real father every other weekend. And the real father, he is heavily involved in this situation and is aware. And he doesn't know where Sebastian is either, correct?
Correct. I mean, I can tell you this.
His father's very much involved in his life.
Yes, very much involved in his life. The relationship between all three of us as parents is not your common one. I mean, me and the father talk on a regular basis. We call each other, we talk. Hey, if we heard anything, how's he doing? Is he acting up? I mean, it's not, there's no really animosity in between the parents.
Did he have any special interest, like trains, parks, friends, maybe a school bus route that he loved? My son elopes and loves trains, so he heads to the tracks.
He loves playgrounds.
Yeah, he loves playgrounds. I mean, he loves to play. I'll give him that. Friends-wise,
He wants friends.
Sebastian, his idea of his friend is right now is what he has 2 kids that he talks to at school. But he is extremely socially awkward And so it's very difficult for him to make friends, which has been this boy's only lifelong dream. Christmas, what do you want for Christmas? I want friends. Birthday, I want friends. Anything that he could do to get a friend, he would love to do it, which is potentially dangerous because that could open up doors if for somebody to say, hey, I'll be your friend, and potentially cause harm.
Kim Holmes asked if there's any cameras in the area, and I did see, Kim, that they were asking for people that had any Ring doorbell footage or any businesses that had camera footage. Talk to us about that, Chris. We did speak about that briefly earlier about the people getting all the footage, but they haven't found anything.
Our entire neighborhood and surrounding neighborhoods have voluntarily and with generosity given up any video footage that they've got. I mean, they have let the apartments come in and view and monitor. So as far as cameras, everybody has turned over everything. There's thousands of hours of stuff that they are combing through to try to find an answer.
It looks like Tish is local to the area. She said, I go to the grocery store or anywhere, and our eyes are peeled looking for him. I work at a local restaurant, and I'm checking cars as they come through the drive-thru every day. Bless you, Tish. I know this family is very grateful.
Okay, guys. And again, I kind of shortened this up a little bit. And in between of this, there's long pauses. Chris and Katie don't say anything to a lady like that Tish lady that was saying, hey, like I'm trying to get the word out about Sebastian. They're sitting there silent. They don't say anything. Hey, Bluegrass Meadows, good to see you. Yeah, a step parent is more like an older friend who has earned some respect, but doesn't enforce anything other than I'm going to talk to your mother about this. Yeah, absolutely, Witchy. I think you're right about that. Hey, Cinderella, and thank you for the green hearts. So, it's maddening. It's maddening, Bo. My PTSD says that's the line that CP said that is very similar to what that dentist that poisoned his wife and killed her said about her situation. I shared the video clip in the war room a few days ago. Creepy. Oh, thank you, my PTSD. I'll have to go back in there and look for that. That's really interesting. I think it's important to compare these cases and see the patterns because there's definite patterns. Hey, Liberty. Liberty says a step parent has no business whatsoever disciplining a child. Any psychologist will tell you that. Well, I mean, especially when the child I think there's like age and again, I'm not, a psychologist or anything like that, but I think there's a certain age, right? Like if the step parent has been involved since the child was like 2, 3, 4, maybe, right? Then, I can kind of see there being that it's more of like a dad or a mom relationship if they know the person for, when they're just babies and little bitty. But yeah, I mean, my opinion, I would never let anybody discipline my daughter. Like it was just not their position. But she's got a father and a mother, so um thank you, Sassy. Thank you. You were never allowed to allowed that as a bio. You should never allow for that as a bio parent. No, I don't think so either. I think it's just better to not. And really, I mean, look, I'm gonna say if you have a situation where there's like a 15-year-old boy and he's bowing up to his mother, right? Because sometimes we see these bad kids, right? I've also been watching some documentaries on why they would, or I had before, why kids would have to go away to like a behavioral camp or school. And, some of these kids were bigger than their moms and they were yelling at their moms and giving their moms, a really hard time. So if there's a step parent in that situation and it's a man, I'm not going to fault the guy for getting up and saying, hey, don't talk to your mom like that, don't be disrespectful, and that sort of thing. So I mean, there are instances, and then again, like if it's a situation where the child might hurt themselves, right? But you don't have to ever put hands on the kids or belt them or anything like that, right? It's not fair. It's absolutely not right. And for a mom to allow for it is crazy to me, because I know we got a lot of mama bears out there. Jenny by the beach says, I would never allow another person to strict parent my kid. Yeah, or my child, excuse me. That only belongs in the home of the parents if ever warranted. Right. Good parenting equals good behavior. No need for strict discipline. Yeah. I mean, I just don't see the value in it, Jenny by the beach. Like, what are they learning from it? Right. Like, I could slap the crap out of somebody and they're not really going to learn anything from it. Right. I mean, they're going to fear me, but they're not going to learn anything. So I agree with that. And I think, a lot of times too, the parents don't want to look at what's going on in their house. And in this situation, as we were talking about earlier, I mean, Sebastian was a product of his environment. And it was becoming very clear, right? Like there were some issues at school even, and some parent teacher stuff going on. Even though I'm not sure when they do parent teacher, if that was just like kind of like you know, a scheduled thing that all the kids did. So they still are not their bio parent. Yeah, exactly. Well, and that's what it comes down to, Liberty. You're right. You're right. Titch says I was a step parent to two boys, and there was no way I would talk about them like that, or talk to them like that. Right. And I mean, Titch, I'm right there with you. You're supposed to be, the loving parent and everything. I mean, it's better not to antagonize the situation, I would think. Um, and Titch says I was literally like their adult friend, help them, yes, but never discipline them. It wasn't my place to. And I would feel that way too, Titch. And of course, like if there's something where I have to grab them up, because they're like climbing something they shouldn't. I'm trying to think of something dangerous, or if they were about to run in the street or something like that. Like, obviously, you would have to put hands on them, right, to get them off out of that situation. But never in anger and never for discipline. I agree. And I'm glad to hear that, Titch. Witchy Mama says, I think each of my kids received a single swat with the hand once when they were 2 or 3 years old after they'd understood no means no. Yeah, exactly. Well, and I mean, they have to be able to grow and learn. We don't want to scare the crap out of them. We want them to be able to grow and learn. And how can you ever learn from your mistakes if you never make one? So I mean, you have to let them make mistakes, and you can't just make it the end of the world. And geez, once they become teenagers, we got to pick our battles, right? Cooper says, in my opinion, not all step parents are bad. My kid's stepdad stayed in I's lives after our divorce. Oh, well, that's nice, Cooper. Yeah, the grandkids' lives. He's the best. Yeah. And I mean, that's the thing. It just depends on the relationship, too, right? And the people. Because there's people that are supposed to come into your life for only a season, and then there's other people that are supposed to stay, throughout your life. And, it's just one of those things. But the kid should never have to bear the brunt of it. So Kiki says, I felt I feel KP and Seth needed to talk, but CP got in the way about Sebastian, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, I think it would have been better. I would never talk. I mean, I couldn't though. I dealt with like a very tough situation, right? A very difficult situation with mine, but also it was just something that I didn't feel that person really cared about my daughter enough to talk about issues like that, right? But I think also when we deal with somebody like Chris who's very controlling, um, you know, that's a big problem too, because he's always going to get in the middle of it. He's never going to let them talk it out, or work it out, and then let him know what the game plan is, right? And as a step parent, I kind of feel like that's where I would be, is like, okay, what is the game plan? Whatever you guys decide, that's what we have to implement as parents. I would give my input if it was asked for, type of a thing. So Jenny by the Beach says KP allowed CP to bully Sebastian with whatever means. That's evident, in my opinion. Yeah, I think so too, Jenny by the Beach. And I hate that. I really do. I hate that for Sebastian, which he says I'm strict as hell with stuff like routines, meals, homework, etc. And all my kiddos knew that. But other than a single swat, it was never corporal. Yeah, and the thing is, what she is, like we were talking earlier, is we need to have structure, right? A routine. Everybody likes that. I mean, I myself, even with the channel, I have to make sure that I structure myself to do 2 lives a day, to do, I need to get into the war room. I need to do this. Like, there's all these things that I'm doing always, right? And it's good to have a routine and set time limits and stuff, like deadlines for yourself and things like that. Like, that is always something good. And I myself like to feel safe in routine, so it's very important to me. Very, very important to me. That's right. Punishment is not meant to hurt. It's to get their attention. Sure, Bluegrass Meadows. Yeah, absolutely. I knew what you said. You were saying, Kiki. I knew. And Kiki, you have 5 kids, so and they're various ages. So Cooper says, in my opinion, KP didn't want to talk to Seth, and so CP just took over everything, and KP allowed him to do whatever he wanted. Yeah, well, and Chris was being very, in my opinion, he was being very much aggressive about things, right? And I mean, he likes to have the control. He was even doing things like saying that Sebastian couldn't wear anything but pull-ups at their house, was making it so Seth would do that too, or suggesting it, and Seth was like, no, I'm not going to do that, right? But then also, there was some instances where Sebastian was allegedly grounded at the Proudfoot residence, but then Chris Proudfoot was telling Seth, like, when he's at your house this weekend, he's grounded, just so you know. And then Seth's like, well, I'm not going to carry the grounding over to my house because he didn't do anything here. And, we only get every other weekend. So again, I find it crazy that Chris would even suggest something like that, which shows me the level of control he was trying to take over the situation.
So he probably the route to his father's house. So maybe he was in the process of heading in that direction.
That has not been ruled out. I mean, like I said, the search that they are conducting is extremely widespread and thorough.
Mm-hmm.
So nobody is ruling that out as a possibility.
But normally when he wants to go to his dad's, he just says so. And we just call his dad.
Yeah, I mean, dad will come down here. We meet him halfway. I mean, he's never wanted to go to his dad's and not been able to go. Let's put it that way.
Right.
I mean,
thank you for being a member for 6 months. All of this is very, very helpful to help us, better understand the situation that we're dealing with. And I did see a post on Facebook that it looked like everybody was asked to wear green on Friday because green is Sebastian's favorite color. What else can you tell us about Sebastian?
He is an avid Minecraft fan. Loves the color green. It's got the goofiest and quirky smile in the world. I don't think anybody could mimic it, to be honest with you.
He looks like he's such a sweet young man. He
loves to dance. That boy he'll dance his tail off.
There's nothing wrong with that. Dancing is good for you. It's good exercise too. I just really hope they can find some answers.
So he's a fish in the water. I'm gonna tell you right now that but here's the distinction. He is not a child that likes to get dirty. He can't stand his hands dirty. He can't stand bugs. He is fearful of flies. So if he swims.
Okay, guys. So earlier we were talking about this, and I did want to just point it out really quick. So again, he says he's not the type of kid that likes to get dirty. You know what I mean? Like he says it like it's weird. The emphasis he puts on dirty, but everybody was, and even the police we heard earlier were telling everybody to look under tarps for Sebastian, to look in barns, to look in all these places, and it's like, but why would he go in there if he doesn't like to get dirty, or if he doesn't like, it's not like he's likes to swim in the rivers or the lakes, because those bodies of water, sometimes you can't see the bottom, right? They're murky and that sort of thing. And so he doesn't like that. He prefers the pool. But why weren't they telling law enforcement that? Like, he wouldn't necessarily go under a tarp, right? Because he's doesn't like bugs. He doesn't like to get dirty. And again, why would they think that he went into the woods if he doesn't like bugs and he doesn't like to get dirty? Just again, I do want to just, put that out there that right here, right away, they're telling us information that's opposite to what they told law enforcement. Because I don't think law enforcement is that stupid, right? I don't think that they're that naive or don't know what they're, doing.
He is a pool kid. He's not I'm a river and a stream kind of kid. He is swimming pool bound.
Oh, I know that you said there was some misinformation that was going around and you wanted to make a clarification. You did tell me that TBI, was assisting, but that there was some confusion. People thought that FBI was actually assisting in this case. Talk to me about what you spoke about earlier to me on our phone call about how FBI is, that they were consulted, and the card team, I guess there is a discussion going on as to whether he qualifies, as, for the child abduction response team.
So the FBI is not physically on the ground. Somewhere in one of the news clips, I think it was reported that the FBI had made it on the ground. They're not. TBI, Tennessee Bureau of Investigations, has reached out to the behavioral analysis team or their CART team, and they are trying to work with them from a distance. They're not physically present, to help in any way, form, shape that they can render their assistance.
Okay. Light and sound, thank you for being here. Have burner phones been looked into? I know some teens sneak phones from their parents, or maybe his computer use at school to see if he has been chatting.
Evidence of a secret phone?
Okay, good. Because digital evidence is really important. They want to make sure that he's not speaking to anybody. This is such an unusual case.
This case is extremely unusual. Like I said before, we are pretty strict when it comes to certain things. As far as comms, communication, electronic devices, there was only one phone that he had. It was extremely locked down. He had access to his phone, his text message, to only his contacts list, a camera, and a calculator, and that is it.
He's a pretty happy kid usually.
He seems like it, and I know that you love him very much. I know that I can remember earlier in our conversation, you were referring to him as Bubba, and I think that's sweet. I call my son Bubba also, so that really tore at my heartstrings because my son, he's 30, but he's still Bubba to me. So that name is going to stick forever. It's just how it is. I heard that there was a possible pond that they were draining. You did tell me they were searching all of the pipes.
Yes. So when it comes to address her,
See, and this is the thing. Seth was saying that he didn't that the card team wasn't. I know I said cart on accident that night too. I said cart on accident, but it is the card team because the last word in the acronym is deploy. Remember Seth said on panel cart wasn't called in, the card team wasn't called in. Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know why Chris and Katie were saying things like that out, and all of that. So, yeah. Oh, I did too, Liberty. I did the same thing on accident. So yeah, I mean, here we're hearing so many different things, and then also Chris was going around talking about how the dogs did catch a scent of Sebastian, even though law enforcement in the first 7 days told us several times. I mean, over and over and over and over again that there was no scent of Sebastian. Just another one of his lies. And these are the things that we could catch now that we didn't know before. Again, it's just so hard because I know we've gone over these at length, but it's nothing but lies. And again, they gave him a 52% truthful on the computer. I mean, I'm guessing maybe an interview like this, if it was analyzed, would be even less than that.
Question as far as wells and things. I'm sure there's plenty of those around here.
They're searching them.
They actually pulled data for all the caves, underground voids, all of that stuff that could be accessible. They brought in teams from all over the state that specialize in either cave explorations, water recovery rescues. We don't know that they have drained a pond. I can say that much, but they have searched, they've dived them all for sure. They've walked, I couldn't tell you how many miles of creeks and waterways, and they've used cameras. The sewers, it's not really the sewers they're looking in. It's the drainage pipes. So that's for clarification. Sewer pipes, we're not going to find a child in. Those are enclosed and secured. But the runoff, water runoffs, were all searched by a dive team.
You guys were at the Costco on Saturday. That's when you took the picture of him, correct?
Yes, my wife was at Costco on Saturday.
Yeah, not
the shirt
Sunday.
that's in the flyer where it says Optimism was on a Saturday. They were at BJ's on Sunday.
And when it comes to a restaurant or
no, they are all wholesale, like a commissary style stores where they sell in bulk.
Oh, okay. So Costco Saturday, BJ's on Sunday.
Yes,
he loves to eat all the samples, and BJ's is new, so I took him.
You're a good mom.
And when it comes to like one mentioned about Minecraft, like I stated before, he does not have any way to come with anybody on any form of online gaming. That is extremely restrictive. We don't allow that because of what can come of it.
They combed all of the electronics.
I can tell you this with no hesitation. Anything and everything we have given to the police and any other law enforcement to have them completely scan, validate everything, and they are currently. I mean, everything is empty. I mean, they were like, "You guys are pretty good at." I said, "Yes, sir. We don't believe in allowing the kids to communicate through social media or through any type of gaming."
Looks like Missing in USA says, why are they wanting camera footage from Sunday afternoon? Because
we cannot release right now. That is not something that has been authorized us to put out to the public.
And we respect that 100%. Ginger.
Not pervy, right? He's always saying he's not pervy. Yeah, okay, Chris. So according to an email that we all have seen, right? And it was, I guess now about a year ago, there was an email that was shown that said that law enforcement doesn't give out that type of advice, right? Because they're not lawyers. They can't really advise people on what to do, right? But they do read you your rights and that sort of thing. But other than that, it's not like they're going to be like, okay, this is what you should do. And they're definitely not able to tell us what we can say, right? Because anybody can say whatever they want. It's just like the camera footage from the neighborhood. The people in the neighborhood can give their camera footage to anybody they want to, right? Because it's a free country. We can definitely say and do whatever we want. So for Chris to always be saying that law enforcement told me not to, law enforcement told me to do this, law enforcement told me to do that, you know, Bosa's perv. Notice how he tries to make it crystal clear that it's not their fault at all, in my opinion. Exactly, Kiki. Exactly. It's weird, right? It's really strange that they want us to believe, and they're trying to convince us of their innocence, but they're just very, very guilty because they're acting very, very guilty, in my opinion. Jenny caved in on LE while he was looking. Sounds like a smaller hole. I'm sorry, I must have missed something. Hold on, guys. I'm sorry. Sebastian would have lived with high functioning autism if people only had faith in him to guide him along. Some people have no patience and can't be bothered. It's so selfish. Yeah, I mean, oh, I see. Independently. Okay. I'm sorry. Sometimes I can decipher it, but no, that's a good point. So, yeah, Jenny says Sebastian could have lived, and would have lived independently with high functioning autism, and I agree with that too. Seth was very much about um, helping Sebastian get over some of the things that he didn't want to do, right? Because even one of the things, and I hate this, but Seth talks about how he wanted to teach Sebastian how to drive, or was, getting him prepared for it, but Sebastian really didn't have any interest because he likes it when Seth drives. And so he's like, well, you could drive, right? And that's what's really difficult for any parent, right? Is that we want to make sure our children are going to be okay even without us, right? But for somebody who's on the spectrum or has special needs, the parents, right, and the caregivers, they always have to worry and wonder about that, right? Like, who's going to take care of them when I'm not here? And so I think that's really important. To remember that Sebastian, so thanks, Jenny. He absolutely could have, but he needed just some extra help, right? And that's what those classes he was taking in school were for, and all of that. So yeah, I agree with that. So there was a lot of rain and tornadoes that week too. Yeah, the weather was getting pretty bad, right? We watched that too earlier. That's true. So, good night, Bo. And Titch, I'm going to go ahead and look into that. I haven't had a chance to. I have not had a chance to look into the other case. I'm gonna do that though. But I definitely got your email. So, all right, guys. So let's get back into this.
Snap says I was reading that his favorite song is "Eye of the Tiger." That's a great song.
He's got an eclectic taste of music. He's a fan of Eddie Vedder. He likes Survivor. Great. Oh yeah, I mean young man has a very eclectic taste in music.
And you told me that
Taylor
he
Swift,
loves to play chess.
Carrie Underwood.
And he loves to play chess, right?
He has a crush on Taylor Swift.
Ooh, he has her boyfriend better watch out then. Was 911 allowed to be called, Rhonda asks.
On the cell phone, is that what she's referring to?
Yes, I believe so. Is that what you're asking, Rhonda?
All devices that have communications have the ability to call 911. Believe it or not, most cell phones that are not even connected to service have an ability to actually call 911.
Yeah, you can pick one up off the shelf at a store and most will call.
Yeah. That's become a federal thing. That's not a service provided. That is like a federal thing.
Right.
Okay, so and I'll back that up because Katie's about to say that they don't restrict, anything that would call for help or whatever, right? Holly says, "Shut up, judges." I know. And honestly, Trevor too, because what they were talking about was, no offense, but seriously, because what they were talking about here is that there's certain devices that will assist a child who's on the spectrum, right? There are these devices, and Chris and Katie have no idea what they're talking about, right? And that just shows us that they are not familiar with autism spectrum disorder when it comes to someone who is profoundly autistic, right? Because if they were, then they would realize what that was, right? Yes, some of the children who do not have, the verbal skills will use different methods of communication, right? Like a cell phone. Um, we've even seen, what was the little boy's name? I can't believe I just forgot his name and I covered him in the beginning. It's been a long day. Uh, but either way, he used a device from when he was very, very little and he was able to read, he just couldn't talk, right? And so he would communicate with his phone. And that's what they're talking about here, right? Does he have a special phone with buttons on it that he could push? No, because Sebastian didn't need that. Sebastian can play chess. Sebastian can function regularly in school. He just needs a little bit of extra help. There were also some issues because of what he endured in his lifetime. So, but they have no idea, guys. And this is the huge first indicator, right? That they have no idea what these devices are, anything. They're like, what? No, and no. So here we go. Give me 1 second.
On the cell phone, is that what she's referring to?
Yes, I believe so. Is that what you're asking,
All
Rhonda?
all devices that have communications have the ability to call 911. Believe it or not, most cell phones that are not even connected to service have an ability to actually call 911.
Yeah, you can pick one up off the shelf at a store and most will call.
Yeah, that's become a federal thing. That's not a service provided. That is like a federal thing.
Right.
We restrict safety features even if we could.
Yeah, safety is not restricted in this house. New Shackle Island Road runs parallel to Long Island. Old Shackle Island Road is actually farther directionally. It would actually be south in front of the hospital, the Hendersonville Hospital. That is roughly, I think, 4 or 5 miles from our house.
I was very disappointed when you told me that people were harassing you and attacking you. Is there anything that you want to put to rest while you're here tonight or make clear to the public about this situation? I know you told me there was a statement that you wanted me to make about you and the mom and the dad. So if you want to make any clarification about that, you have free reign to do so. We will not allow you to be disrespected here on this platform.
I have no malice or ill intent toward anybody. Everybody has an opinion.
Of course.
But what is factual is that the father, the mother, and myself have been extremely cooperative. We have been vetted. We have been checked out. We have been questioned and everything of that nature, and literally have been cleared. There is no wrongdoing. There is no negative input from the parents or any of the family. It's hard for a lot of folks. I mean, I will be honest and say this out loud. I have a custody case that is currently going on in another state, which has been brought to public light because
Okay, so here we go. Which has been brought to public light is what Chris says, right? More eloquently than most of his statements that I can quote off the top of my head. Oh boy. So it's very, very interesting, in my opinion, that Chris is now going to tell us a story about Nina, but then Nina comes up and speaks to Trevor Lee. And again, I just want to point this out as we go, because it's not that we've talked about, it's nothing that we've talked about before when it comes to the situation with Nina, in my opinion. Because Nina does talk to Trev Time, who is linked through Duchess for the Missing with Chris Proudfoot and Katie Proudfoot. Do you see how that equation doesn't quite math up? Right? It's just not adding up or anything, right? I'm horrible at math, so I'm the worst person to ask. But it doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me at all. So, put a cork in it, Cinderella. Good to see Cinderella. That's funny. Put a cork in it, CP. Yep, butt. He's acting like a total butthole. Um, oh my goodness, you're kidding me, right? Wouldn't restrict things to call for help, right? That's what she says. We wouldn't restrict that anyway. We wouldn't restrict that kind of thing. So, but all along we know that we know that they didn't call 911, right? They called the sheriff's office. So, or excuse me, at this point, maybe they know that we're about to know it, right? But then he's also trying to clean this mess up with Nina, because I think it was JLR that said, look, this is CP, this is his ex-wife Nina, this is what they did. So people that control to that level don't, because they have something to keep away from the world. Otherwise, he wouldn't care about the access Sebastian had, in my opinion. Well, and I will say, Titch, that I did have pretty strict restrictions on the phone, but never to that level, right? Like, I mean, I didn't like the apps that you could go on and things would disappear out of it and stuff like that. In my opinion, that's just something, it's a reason to hide something from someone, right? And if you're, you should always be able to look in your children's phone just in case, because especially like when it comes to Haley Busby's case, that man was definitely grooming her for an entire year and a half, and then met her at her work, and was slowly making her fall in love with him, but the whole time he had ill intentions, right? He wanted to hurt her, and he did end up hurting her. And the last I heard, it's a federal case. I would have to look to see and make sure, but so yeah, Duchess. I mean, and here's the thing. Like, again, I said Liberty. She's setting all of this up, right? And then Trevor goes over and says he's helping Seth, but was he helping Seth? And then everything got really messy and mucked up, right? But I'm not even really focused on that or anything. I wish everybody the best in the situation. What I'm really focused on is this meat and potatoes of Sebastian's case here, where we have these parents coming out, and now here is Chris Proudfoot. He's not cammed up. Let me remind you that every time Seth comes on panel, he cams up. Even though all of us were an avatar the other night, right? It was Kiki, Libra, and myself. And then Seth was up on the panel, and he was showing his face the whole entire time. So, and I was not, and nobody was. So he gets up there every single time. And then you have this guy who is up there, and you can't see his body language. And when we finally see it in the Holly Thompson interview, it was like a huge red flag to everybody. right? Because he's sitting there, and again, I would type in the word guilty, and it would come up, and I would put the little meme next to Chris Proudfoot. Sometimes I would type the word dumb in and put it right next to him, and it looked very, very spot on, in my opinion. Isn't Duchess related to CP in some way? Allegedly, Katie. It's allegedly Katie, Jenny, but I've never seen any hardcore proof. But yeah, Liberty, I'm with you. I believe that they're cousins, right? But I mean, I've never been able to see the exacts on that. So, I mean, I do, guys. I don't trust anything. And I think Seth said it well too. And I used to have my quote up about it. It's like you don't want to. You want to be careful with what you see and hear, right? And you can't believe barely any of it, right? But at least I want to be able to see it and hear it for myself and show it to you guys. See what you think of it. I mean, Liberty, I hate to say it. I mean, because it breaks my heart. Why would you get into it and not want to help? I mean, why do people have to make it all about themselves? Is another thing that I don't understand. Because I mean, again, this story is not about me. Yes, it's fun to put in a little bit of personal anecdotes. Sometimes it's not as fun if I'm sharing something that I don't want to share, but I think it helps somebody, so I share it anyway. Um, but in the same way, I don't know. I don't think that Trevor, and I hate to be the one to be like, well, I don't think they were helping, but it appears that way, doesn't it? And like I said, it's too weird the timing. Hey, Detroit, it's too weird the timing. He was 100% in the Proudfoot camp with Chloe and Heather. So, yes. And I'm sorry for dredging this up. For some of this is painful for some people that were involved in the case at that time. Trust me, I have my own moments in Sebastian's case when that happens. I have my own moments every day when that happens. More often than I'd like to have them. Um, So Titch says, I think KP is the one that showed massive red flags to me, more so than CP for me. CP came after the more he talked. Yeah, KP's behavior was just jumped out at me massively. Yeah. Well, and she was definitely doing all the self-soothing behaviors and everything, rocking back and forth. And this one, it's so different because we can't see her, but we can hear her, and it's just, it falls short, and there are so many red flags with Katie. Liberty says, Lady, I just don't understand what happened to Trevor. He put lies about Nina out on Facebook, making her look bad. Well, and I saw one video with Nina where she was like kind of giddy and everything. But then again, look, when you get to know people and you're comfortable around them, you're going to be a little bit different than you would be if you're just doing an interview. And that is the way I looked at that FaceTime. Um, Look, people do a lot of really dirty, underhanded things. And especially in Sebastian's case, you really don't know who you can trust. And it's really, really sad because we should all be able to work together and find him. If we could all work together in the beginning, we could have found him. But look, in the beginning, this is what was happening. I didn't know it at the time. Nobody did. None of us saw this coming except for the people that were orchestrating it, right? Like Trevor, like he had to have been in on all of this to put the lies out about Nina. He sat there and listened to her tell her story, guys. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm a survivor, and I can tell if somebody is telling me a BS story. That's what was my saving grace in the Johnny Depp trial, because I really didn't want to think that he was going to, that horrible. Yes, was he horrible to her? Yeah, there was times where it was so toxic, right? But in the grand scheme of things, she was absolutely the one that was doing horrific things and then mocking him for being a man and, all of this. And I saw right through it at the trial. The makeup was really what got me. Um, but anyway, not to get too far off a subject there, I can't believe he would do it, because Nina trusted him with her story, and he put it out there, and a lot of people did really, really well off of her story. And to know that he would turn around and do something like that, I would have to side with Seth in his last commentary that he gave on Trevor, right? And I was just as shocked. I was just as shocked as anybody, and it's still happening. I'm sure it is, Liberty. It is so, so very, like, I could seriously cry with how people get threatened, how people don't want to be a part of the cause for Sebastian because they get so beat down by the public and by, comments online. I can't imagine the kind of hell people must be so associated with me, right? Because they call us the ones that did the blob. It's not a blob, first of all, right? If I'm not easily offended, but I'm offended by that. Okay, but I will say that it's very dog eat dog. It's probably one of the worst environments imaginable, um, and something that I think is one of the worst things I've gone through, just in terms of like socially speaking, right? Because none of these people, are my family or anything like that, but it's also just very taxing, right? Especially if you put yourself out there and give, you know, of yourself. It's just, I don't know that it's the right environment for that. So I don't know. Well, I think it. I think they were all in cahoots with the Proud Feet, unfortunately, and that's what's really, really scary. Um, it is. So, but it's not going to ever deter me from trying to find Sebastian, because going back even through these interviews, it's plain to see that they were running a game for sure.
As people feel that they want to judge and think that they understand what's currently going on, and they don't. Because of that, I am being looked at in a very foul way. I don't need to repeat anything that's being said, but
Right. But
and it's
people that are
perfectly
there's
okay.
people that's probably seen it on social media, and I want you to be able to have the opportunity to defend yourself. Please respect this family. I mean, you can't have an idea of possibly what they are going through, and it's really not any of your business what is going on. And I understand that you do see your other child, which, and that doesn't have anything to do with Sebastian. And you guys are on good terms with his father. There's not like there's any custody battle between the mother and Sebastian's father. I mean, obviously, if he wants to see his father, you guys told me that, you just plan to meet up, and it's no big deal. So, I've read a couple of heinous things that people are saying, and it just really upsets me to know that people are just going to that without having all of the information and knowing that law enforcement has interrogated everyone in your family. They have looked into you. They have all of your devices, and that they basically cleared you guys of any involvement in Sebastian's disappearance. And I just wanted the public to be able to hear you say that, because you do have the right to defend yourself, because it's not like you said earlier, it's not about you, it's about finding Sebastian.
Correct.
Yes.
And I just don't want to have people to be dragging you around on social media. Isn't it already difficult enough that your child is missing?
That's beyond.
Oh yeah, it's difficult. Yeah, it would be very difficult. Nobody's, saying it's not difficult. But it is. It's very difficult, but you're showing more passion in your voice, right? Than Katie is. That's the weird part, Duchess. I think that's what's the big turnoff here is the fact that you're so into it and Katie's just not, and she's his mom. Hello. Hey, Shauna. Good to see you, Shauna. Aw, thanks for being here. It's like they get mad when we don't believe their bull crap, but we're watching it, like goodness sakes.
On words. This is a feeling that I'm gonna tell you right now. I don't care.
wish this on
Nobody should ever have to endure. It is not something that should ever be wished upon for anyone.
Now, I do see Miranda. Miranda has a child that is special needs as well, and we've covered a case on my channel involving her child in the school system here on my platform. So Miranda is a very strong advocate for kids that have special needs and them getting fair and equal treatment. And she says, how is his skills on walking around on heels or without a trail? Because my son would stumble if he had to step over a 1-inch rock or any form of incline. So, I mean, is he able to walk good? How is he able to navigate on his own? Is he able to walk good?
All right, guys, and I wanted to put this in there. They were having some issues, but Chris and Katie, okay, so I'm actually having issues with StreamYard myself, obviously, tonight. But if you're up on the panel and you're up there, you can hear and everything, right? It's different than when somebody drops down or when they're dropped off of StreamYard, like with what happened tonight. It's like you just drop off the panel, right? But they're still on the panel. I just want to point that out. Maybe tonight happened so I could reference that. I don't know. Hey Shauna. So yeah, I mean, yeah, they did wait 2 weeks, right? Yeah. Yeah, they did. They did. Yeah. Well, and they should have just taken everybody's everything and they should have taken them all down to the station, in my opinion.
Can you hear me? Did I lose you guys? Can you hear me?
And I also want to point out that whenever StreamYard is paused, or excuse me, whenever StreamYard and your mic is muted, you can tell that somebody muted your mic, right? Like you could tell it here if if Chris mutes his, if Duchess does hers, if Trevor does his, and then watch when I do it, and I've done this before. You're gonna see a little microphone that has a slash through it. Okay, you can. All right, so that's how you can tell if somebody's muted on the panel. And Chris and Katie are not muted; they're just not talking. And she's like, "Hello, hello." Like this is a nightmare for a creator, right? Like if you run a respectable podcast, this is like the worst case scenario right here. Hello, hello, and there's nobody and nobody's hello. Okay, it's just very annoying. And then there's dead air, and then you guys are all waiting in the chat, right, for something interesting to happen, and it just doesn't flow. So
Chris, are you there? Can you hear me? Trev, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, maybe Chris lost signal. We'll give him a few minutes to come back. They may have had to mute out. Thank you, FarQ. I appreciate it. Chris, we're not able to hear you. They may have gotten cut out with their Wi-Fi service. So if you need to come back, please let us know. I'm going to go over here to the chat while we wait for Chris. They may have had a phone call or something to come in, so we'll give them a few minutes. No rush. Discovering the Truth said when my son was nonverbal, he had a speech device that was supposedly blocked from the company, so he couldn't go to any websites, and somehow he bypassed it. They're smarter than you think. Wow, Discovering the Truth. That is incredible. And he is a high-functioning autistic young man, so They have the, and look, Chris dropped. He must have lost his signal, guys, but he'll probably come
See
back.
what I mean?
Oh, here he is. Here he is.
Yeah, see, they were up there the whole time and didn't say anything. And then they dropped down, right? Because you could tell. Or they get kicked, right? Because the system sometimes will kick you, but not in this situation. In my opinion, it's not doing it. So, and they were up there for a minute. It's not like they dropped right away, right? They were sitting there for a minute, not saying anything. It's such weird behavior. Shauna, this was the very first interview they did. This is when they first spoke publicly on March 3rd of 2024. So, and then they do the interview with Pollyanna Thompson. So,
Chris, can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Okay, that's like a Verizon commercial. Can you hear me now? I figured you might have lost signal.
Yeah, it's okay. We'll figure it out. We get it back every once in a while.
Okay, yeah, I understand. I understand.
whatever, we'll figure it out. No, Chris, you were sitting up on the panel, in my opinion, that whole entire time. And, prove me wrong, because I don't think I'm wrong on that.
We'll figure it out. We get it back every once in a while.
Okay, yeah, I understand. I understand.
He's high functioning. I mean, he's fully able to hold a conversation, and he walks and he loves to run.
Okay, well, that's good. And Rhonda wants to know if he has a special button on his phone.
No.
On his phone?
I don't. Mm-mm.
Okay.
But he doesn't have his phone.
Yeah, and he left his phone at home, so he doesn't have it. His says, I'm local and I'm trying to get a direction. Thank you. And says something about exit 5. Are you guys close to exit 5?
No, well, that depends. You can access off of what they call New Shackle Island Road, which I believe is exit 6.
Yes, I see. Thank you, Mrs. Clem.
Yeah, I believe it's exit 6, and exit 7 will be in Indian Lake. But as far as the special button on his phone, I'm not sure what you mean by that.
Yeah, me either. And I know Discovering the Truth said that, her child was able to get around the security system that they had kind of set up on the phone, so they couldn't access the websites, that it was locked. And apparently he got around it and was able to access it. And I guess that's kind of what they were talking about, in a couple of texts in the chat. So that's what I was trying to address, because a lot of the people that come to my streams, they have children that are also autistic. So they deal with a lot of situations, and they can understand some of the things that you may be dealing with at this moment. I can only imagine what you're going through, not knowing where he is.
Without publicizing our address, best I can tell you is we are off by the beach area, and that kind of area is where they've predominantly been focusing their searches.
Right.
When it comes to the special button, no. Just so some parents are aware, even if you lock down your child's phone, some children can actually turn their phone into safe mode, which would bypass the parental locks and then allow a child to go on the internet. There is a way to block that. You would have to look that up. That's too much in depth to go into. But no, I mean, when I say we're strict, we lock it down. We lock it down.
Okay, well, that's good to know. David Bryant, thank you so much for being here. David says, hey, one question. Do you think he would have stuck to roads, or do you think he could have went off into the wooded areas?
That is that's hard to say. We don't really have an answer, but all I can say is every avenue is being searched, regardless of woods, roads, anything. Everything that can be searched is currently being searched.
Says, I'm not saying he did this whatsoever, but I did see a screenshot from Facebook where he yelled at the news and told them to get off his property. Is there any truth to that?
Okay, guys, I hate to just cut it off on the question part of it, right? But here's the thing. So they're saying, I'm not saying he's guilty, right? This commenter, I'm not saying, anybody's guilty here, but I did see where he was yelling at the news to get off his property, right? And maybe this wouldn't be important in another case, but in this case, I think it is important, because I have to agree here that if the news and everybody was like swarming my yard and everything and following me, because they can be very aggressive, I might tell them to F off too, right? Or something like that, for sure. But the way that the story goes and the fact that they never want Sebastian being talked about, right? And they don't want their house being talked about, and they don't want the room being showed where Sebastian went missing from, showed on America's Most Wanted. And all of this, adds up. It just keeps on adding up. And in this case, I think this is very important. And it's aged very well, Reckless Ellis, whoever you are. I'm not going to say he did this whatsoever. I seen a screenshot from Facebook where he yelled at the news and told them to get off his property. Any truth to that? Any truth to that? Very well asked, right? And again, saying, hey, I'm not gonna excuse me, I am not gonna say that I think, the dad's lying, even though, you know, he is, right? I'm not going to say he's lying. I'm not going to say he did this. I'm not going to say any of that. But, did he ask them to leave? Right? Yeah, very different tone of this interview, right, Shauna? It is. It's a very different tone. And again, their urgency is not like the panel's urgency, right? Like Duchess's urgency, like Trevor's urgency. They're like, we got to get we got to get all of this information out there. It's super duper important, right? We have to get it out there so that people can share it out and have, Sebastian's story, right? So we can start looking for him and all of that. Chris and Katie weren't even thinking about that. It doesn't seem, it doesn't appear that way anyway. LE doing a proper investigation takes everybody tech device. Yeah, I mean, I agree. They take all of that. They check all of the vehicles, right? Were they all checked? It makes me wonder, So, yeah, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. So, well, hello, Seth. Good to see you. Seth says stepfather, not dad. Yeah, absolutely, Seth. And thank you, Witchy Mama, for posting that also. I really appreciate you for doing that. So yeah, I mean, it's tough to watch, especially because we're dealing with a very mild case of Chris at this point in time. Just a very mild case of him. But again, some of these questions are going to get a little bit more heated.
Well, Reckless, I'll let them speak for themselves, but if the news was on my property, I might yell at them to get off my property too.
So I have not spoke to any news crew that have been physically on my property. I have spoken to a news crew that was down the street and just asked them politely, do not film my house. They were filming the police doing something, and that was perfectly okay. They gave me the word, we shook hands, and politely moved on. So, no, I mean, as far as yelling at the news, no.
Okay, well, thank you for clarifying that. I also have search dogs that have been out helping assist in the search.
Yes, ma'am. They have brought in dogs from various locations, from I believe from even other states as well as other areas within the state. So it is deeply, deeply being checked.
Okay, I'm going back over here. I see David Bryant's left another comment in chat. Okay, gotcha. We'll keep searching, praying for your families. I just posted multiple pictures from what my dog has found searching, and you can feel free to reach out if you would like me to search anywhere. So it sounds like David may have some search dogs himself. David, if you want to send me an email, or reach out to me with Facebook Messenger if you have any information that you would like for me to pass on to the family. I'll be more than happy to do that, and we appreciate that so very much. Jennifer Jennings, thank you for being here. Jennifer says, how long has he been married to the mom? Isn't he Seth's son? Who is searching for this boy, mom, dad, or who? Well, it's
Whoa, here comes Jen for the win. I said exactly what Seth just said. How long has he been married to the mom? Isn't he Seth's son? Hello. Okay, right, Jen? I thought Jen was in here. I couldn't remember if it was March 17th interview. I want to get that one out for you guys too. Because I don't think I've ever really covered it. Shauna, there's our Jen. We love Jen. I mean, Jen's amazing, and she's like, come on now, I need to know who's who. I need to know who's searching for this young man, right? So go, Jen. We love you, Jen. um Woohoo, snap, Jen. Exactly, witchy mama. There she goes. And then Duchess is super rude, so trigger warning. I'm just kidding. Here we go. But we love Jen. How dare she?
sounds like there's a lot of people involved, including the mother, the father, the stepfather, and law enforcement. When you say how long has he been married to the mom, are you referring to Chris on panel? Julio, thank you so much for being here. Chris always treated my girls and son with nothing but kindness when we worked together. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Oh, snap. So here's Julio, right, guys? Hey, lover girl. So here's Julio. And, it's kind of weird that Julio is talking about how Chris always treated his girls and son with nothing but kindness when they worked together. Did Chris go out and hang out at Julio's house, and the kids were home, or what's up with that? First of all, it's weird. Um, Also, we've never actually gotten an interview. Julio, if you would like to do an interview with Lady Freedom, come on down. Email me at ladyfreedomsrawnarratives@gmail.com, and we will get together on an interview, sir, because I'd like to know about Chris Proudfoot. And, and you can tell me all about, his, situation with how he was so nice to your kids when, you guys operate cranes. Kind of weird. That your kids would be on the job site. I never knew any of my father's work associates unless they stopped by the house. So I wonder. I think Julio is a troll account. Lover girl to myself. But then again, I will say that this person has a Facebook, because one day he showed up in my suggested list, which I was like, ooh, that's creepy, right? So he might have been peeping. Which I was being silly. But for real, if Julio, come on down. Crack the link, Julio. Not tonight because it seems to be malfunctioning. But let's get something together. We'll do an on-camera interview with Julio. Manhoka, Mojica, mojitos. I'm gonna need a mojito for that one. All right, so here we go.
For being here, Julio. I know that probably means a lot to him.
Well,
that's right, Jennifer. I think everybody is searching. It doesn't.
Okay, before Duchess goes smooth off for no reason and gets really defensive of Chris and Katie, right? And Chris is on panel and he can answer anytime, but he never says, "Oh my gosh, Julio, thank you, buddy. I love you, man." Whatever you guys say to each other. I'm not a boy. I don't know what the hell you guys say to each other. Seth, if you're still in here, help me out. But here's the thing. Oh God. He doesn't say a word, and we're supposed to believe that that person's a real person, like Lover Girl is saying. I wonder if that's a real person, right? Because Chris doesn't answer, and Dutch is like, thank you so much," as if he's not even on the panel. I'd be like, thanks, Seth. But yeah, so I mean, very interesting how Chris doesn't see a damn word or thank Julio, his good friend that he used to go over and play with the kids. I don't believe it. I think it's all a bunch of BS.
Sound like there's any animosity with anybody that's going on here. So, and please be respectful in the chat. If you want to come in here.
Jen was not disrespectful in the chat. Okay, in my opinion, Jen was absolutely respectful. And all she asked was, she's saying, like, okay, this little boy has a father named Seth, right? And you have the mom and the stepdad on the panel, but who's looking for this young man? Is anybody looking for him, right? So Seth says, nope, you're on your own. So, but I mean, again, it's just not believable. And then here she goes chewing everybody out because I don't know why. She's a nutbag, in my opinion.
Here and attack the family, the moderators can show you to the door. There's no need to announce your departure. Light and Sound says, I pray he wasn't being bullied at school. I imagine classmates who knew him have been interviewed. And yes, I do believe Chris said that earlier. And did he typically take his phone places with him, guys, or did he normally leave it at home?
Believe it or not, it was actually a struggle to get him to carry his phone. He's not.
Okay, and again, I remember this part, and I'll rewind it back. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to stop. But again, I remember them saying this, but then again, Seth was saying that he is used to having his phone, right? So again, I think this is a lie. I think they made it seem like there was less activity, but I think they were also restricting his activity, right? Like we obviously didn't see Sebastian bring his phone to the Texas Roadhouse. He didn't have his phone that day, in my opinion, unless it was left in the vehicle, which it could have been. But without knowing any better, it seems to have been, you know, plugged in where it was found, Um, Seth says, how much did he pay this random person for a comment? One random comment, right? Well, and I mean, that's a good question. I don't even know how he would know somebody, I mean, obviously he's been in the Navy and stuff, and he's worked jobs or whatever. He could know him from wherever. But I do think it's a random person and a random comment, and it's just anything to make them look better than they are. But why are they convincing? When you're innocent, you don't have to convince people, and you've always been like that, Seth, where you don't need to convince anybody because you're absolutely spot on. You've always said the same thing over and over again and stayed consistent, whereas Chris and Katie, not so much. And I'm sure it was hard too for you in the beginning because there was a lot of things like the trash truck and stuff like that. That was really hard to deal with, I'm sure, because in my opinion, law enforcement wasn't being truthful, and that's got to be really tough to deal with. Obviously, we all know they can lie, but you just don't expect them to do it in that way in a case like this, when there's a missing child. You just don't ever expect that. Lovergirl says, right, Seth, and why did Julio never appear again? He probably has questionable character if he had Chris around his kids, if he exists. Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, there's a Facebook page associated, but I don't know if it's really that either. Because Lovergirl, this case is wild. There are people that just come out of the woodwork. They are batshit crazy. I don't know what to even think of it because it's just so sad, so is this a woman live stream? I am a lady, a woman, but not all women. Um, so why didn't Sebastian's mother show up at the school auditorium for the gathering they did for Sebastian? That's a really great question, Seth. Yeah, absolutely. Why didn't Sebastian's mother show up at the school auditorium for the gathering they did for Sebastian? I've I was really surprised in the beginning when they never showed up for any of that stuff. And then even hearing Bobby the neighbor talk about how they had a candlelight vigil and they sent a representative from the family to go instead of the family. Um yeah, if I was, and Katie didn't listen to law enforcement. In my opinion, she left as soon as she could. But law enforcement just said to Katie, stay back, stay at home just in case Sebastian comes back home. And she didn't do that, but I mean, a neighborhood vigil would have been something that I would think wouldn't have made a big difference, right, in the grand scheme of things, because you know, they oh, if the link is ever dropped. Oh, thank you, the storm. I'm having issues with my StreamYard tonight, or I would drop the link. Maybe next time come up and, we could do a panel, because I'm almost gonna be getting out of here. I think. Let me see how much more of an interview I got. I mean, we still have probably like about 10 more minutes left or so. Um, but yeah, I mean, and the thing is that like what I was saying with Katie in the neighborhood and everything, it's interesting because um she could have just been out in the neighborhood with a candle, and it's not like she was going far away. It's not like if Sebastian came home and she went home and he was there, he would have been in, worse for the wear or anything. So why she didn't just go and be with the neighbors who were giving them the camera footage and all of that kind of stuff. Thank you, the storm. Um, it just doesn't add up, right, Seth? Just like it doesn't add up that she wouldn't go to a gathering for Sebastian. And it is sassy. It's a great question. Um, it wasn't even a public thing, no news crews or anything. It was just to speak with his classmates and other children. Oh, I know what you're talking about. Okay, yeah, right. So, yeah, you did speak publicly at the school. Yes. Okay, thank you. Right. So, I mean, and non-threatening environment. It's his classmates, it's Sebastian's classmates. Um, Gosh, I was so lucky to have met, those kids, right? I mean, I don't know any of their names or anything, but they were just adorable. And again, I'm a mom, so I know they're like teenagers, guys, but they're like so cute, and they're over there and they were showing Seth the utmost respect and again, I didn't know that. He had spoke to them, so they were well aware. And I mean, this was huge, right? Like earlier we're watching it unfold and it was like, I mean, officers everywhere, first responders, firefighters, everybody was there, right? And everybody was coming to assist, and it's like, wow, it's just absolutely sad. um that the kids were seeing all of this, and sometimes I do wonder about that. I wonder about whether the kids are seeing this and thinking, "Gosh, I hope I don't go missing because it's not." I mean, look what they're doing to Sebastian. So, yeah, Seth says I spoke to the whole school at an assembly. Yeah, and why wouldn't she do that? I don't understand that either, Seth. That makes no sense to me at all, you know? Witchy, that exactly, girl. You said it in like, a short sentence and I drew it out. Witchy says, well, they got to be scared too. Yeah. And I don't blame him. I'd be thinking that too if I was a kid. I'd be like, look at the way they're treating this young man. Um, well, it sounds like the community came out and made them feel safe. Yeah. I mean, I thought it was very, very sweet. Um, I don't know, and the thing is that everybody likes Sebastian. It sucks because the Proud Feet were so hateful to him, and it does. I honestly think that his classmates enjoyed his company. And I do think that if there was a different environment, that he would have had friends over more often than he did, you know? So, yeah, the teachers probably did think it was weird, Sassy. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Liberty says Seth and the mother never went back to that school after Sebastian's disappearance, never went to get the things out of his locker. Oh, gosh. The first vigil was held. CB and TB showed up and watched from their vehicle. Ew, really? That's so weird. That is so weird. They're super creepy. She's such a cold-hearted bitch. For sure, Detroit. You nailed it. I think we all need to talk to the teachers. I know, Sassy. You know, I hate that people are so afraid to come forward. That's what's so horrible here too, is that because people do get threatened, they do get smeared. Like there's smear campaigns running 24/7. We were talking about that earlier. It's a all out smear campaign. How can we discredit this one? How can we make them look bad? How can we make them do this, all of this, right? We don't have drama here. We don't do drama over here, right? I mean, sometimes we talk about it, but it's few and far between, and I hate doing it. And I know you guys hate listening to it. You guys have I listen when you guys talk and you guys don't want to hear that crap. And I don't blame you. You guys would rather be here dissecting the interviews, and I appreciate the hell out of that because that's what I'd rather be doing. So, it is super sus. It is because why not? You know? It's so creepy. Like when I just read that, I was like, that is gross. Like that makes me sick. It's awful. It's just totally awful. They're all creepers, which is where Pissy Panties gets it from. Seth, I cannot disagree. I cannot disagree. That's really well said. I mean, that's exactly where he gets it from. Being super creepy, just sitting there staring at people while they're doing something like that. What? I mean, hello, you're supposed to go join. Do they not read the room or understand the social cues at that point? I'm just asking. I'm just trying to figure it out. I mean, obviously, because that's weird. Like, okay, if you don't want to look weird, then why don't you do something normal? So then that way people don't think you're so weird. Oh my gosh. Sassy says, watch from the car. It's Detroit, very much so. They must have been trying to keep up appearances, instead came off as creeps. Yeah. Well, that's what I'm thinking, Lover Girl. They think they're doing something good, right? And Kathy's like, we're just going to sit here. We're just going to stare with them, you know. I mean, she lives up to the name Cruella. Liberty says, yes, Seth, they are. The family are like mafia family. Well, they all stick together. I will say they do stick together like that, but I think that sometimes we give them a little bit too much credit because I do. I think there's more of us than there are of them. I really do. You know? Amen, Seth. Says, nah, the mafia has more respect for certain things. Well, yeah. I mean, even the hardened criminals are over there like, don't hurt women and children. If you break that golden rule, then they're upset with you, real upset. So there you go. Yeah. Thank you so much, Shauna. Shauna, let me give you a wrench. um Hold on. It's because you don't have a wrench. Here, let me play this and I'll get you one, Shauna.
Not like your typical teenager. He's not this kid that got to stick their head in the phone. He's not
glued to it.
He's not. Because of his restrictions, he knows that what it's for. It's a tool. It's not an entertainment device. I mean, he had his struggles with doing basic, simple things. And I mean, it was a constant reminder, a constant this. And all three parents have been extremely positive and constantly trying to get him like, hey, we got to do this, bud. We got to do that.
Take your phone.
Take your phone.
Teach him to be responsible and to think about it.
You know, and then Julio, I can contest. I mean, we worked together out in San Diego, so he's amazing.
Yeah, right, Chris. Let me tell you what. I bet you Mama Socks texted him, "Oh, that's our friend Julio. Tell him thank you." How much you want to bet? Oh my goodness. Yes, Shauna. I'm so sorry. I didn't. I'm so bad with giving out the wrenches. Yay, Shauna. You look good in blue, Shauna. Yay. That's wonderful. Um, but yeah, and I appreciate the links. We're trying to work together with the mod squad and getting the links out. You guys have been awesome, and I'm just so thrilled because it helps us a lot, you know. Um, they're like the cartels, you say, you say, Seth. Oh my goodness. Believe me, mafia families must much more class than that. Scumbags. Yeah, exactly. That's true. That's true. They like to whack the they like to whack the scumbags, right? Detroit. Boot camp is probably easier than living with Chris and Katie. I mean, I know, but you know, here's the thing. Sebastian deserves so much better. Um, Shauna, do you know, off the top of your head, because the last I checked, are they moving forward with federal charges against that nasty piece of crap that hurt Haley Busby? Because I haven't heard, and I talked about it a little bit earlier, and I needed to check that. I wonder if TB is a rug informant for the police. You know, that is interesting because they often do have the informants that, I mean, that could be a strong connection and why they have the connections with law enforcement. And, you know, a lot of times, I mean, I always kind of thought that somebody had dirt on someone, and that would be a big that would be a big amount of dirt, right? Because you always think, why, you know, what is in it for them? And Eric Craddock has a beautiful wife, he has kids, you know, why would he uh be a part of this crap with Chris and Katie? And also he's had to bear the brunt of a lot of it, right? And I'm not saying it's rightfully so, but I'm just saying he has. So what's in it for him? Why would he do that, right? The same thing goes for Chris, right? If he was truly in Memphis and he had nothing to do with all of this, it's interesting to me that I don't know. It's just very interesting to me that he would stick with Katie if he had zero involvement. So thank you, Witchy, for dropping Haley's Law. Thank you so much. As far as I know now, it's uh okay. Give it a few more days. Okay, great. I'm hoping excuse me, now it's DL. Um, I really hope that he gets the worst, you know, or like a mule, Seth, like a rug traveler. Yeah, right. Maybe. Well, they seem to like to hang out with people who like to do those hardcore stuff. Julio is a fake. Thinks Brad says I think he's a fake. He got caught with rug making supplies allegedly. Hmm. I think I did see that too, Detroit. I actually think I did see proof of that. The family has a checkered past, you know, they do. And I'm not thinking that's funny. I'm just saying it because it's like they try to act like they're so prim and proper, but they're not. I've always had a feeling the family is involved in the rug trade. It makes me wonder too. All of TB's charges have been related to rug traveling. Right. Right. Yeah. And I mean, when I did the deep dive into them, there's a lot of stuff like within the family too, like older, well, even Terry Bowersox's, I think it was his mom, but I know Kiki and I were looking into that, and so is Chuchi and I was looking into that too. So, and just think about the kind of people he has ties to. Oh my gosh, I know. Yeah, right? Disgusting. It's awful. Makes sense why TB would be involved in the motor coach industry if he has a history of rug traveling, in my opinion. Well, I mean, a lot of it too is a front. If you're smart, you'll do a side hustle and have a front. It seems like they like to launder their money in paying people to do shit for them, like dirty deeds done dirt cheap, in my opinion. But I do think that there's a heavy influence, because why would all of these people that are into that hardcore shit be involved there,
I think that's wonderful. Um, Let me just take care of something here in chat real quick. Jennifer, I appreciate you being here. We welcome all opinions, but we're just how long he's been married to the mother is irrelevant with Sebastian being missing. So I hope that you have a wonderful night, but respectfully, I'm going to have to remove you from chat because it's a distraction.
Oh no, it's not a distraction. It's actually very important to know when they got together. Very important. Even more so important to know when they moved into the house on Stafford Court, right? So little details like that matter. It may seem like people are prying or asking too much, but really, in the grand scheme of things, these are smart questions that we need to be asking. And if there's nothing to hide, then you have no problem asking it. It's not a distraction. You are. And Jen sure as hell ain't no distraction. You are. You're the one having Katie up on your panel acting a fool. Woo! Don't get me started, I swear. Have you ever been boots on the ground, Duchess? Or did you just start a bunch of fuck shit? All the more reason to look harder at them, wouldn't you think? Yeah, absolutely, Detroit. Oh, absolutely. Their behavior is so guilty. Why is there a whole crew of a bunch of criminals? They only associate with people with drug problems and excessive criminal history. Well, and extensive, excuse me. Maybe excessive too, huh, lover girl? I mean, yeah. And the thing is that they had their pick of who they wanted to talk to, especially when Sebastian's case had first blown up, right? So they could have went on some of these really good panels, and they didn't. Seth decided to, right? Seth took advantage of every opportunity he could, right? We saw Seth on Court TV. We saw Seth on Nancy Grace. We saw him on all the news stations talking about Sebastian, telling Sebastian to dial 911, telling Sebastian to call him, saying exactly what any of us would say if we were given the chance. Not everybody is given this chance. Again, I don't mean to say that Sebastian doesn't deserve it, because he deserves everything. He deserves to be found. But when you look at this, they did not take advantage of that. What they did is they took advantage of a bunch of brutes online, a bunch of trolls, a bunch of assholes who are willing to go and do the most to hurt people and go real life on people. And they are a bunch of criminals, lover girl. They are 100%, and they act accordingly. What more can we expect from some assholes like that? Someone who idolizes someone like Queen Bee. You guys see all the videos coming out about her? You guys see them? See the feet? See the fucking house? The conditions that she's okay to live in, but yet talking so much shit and getting everybody's money, $50 here, $100 here, 50 memberships, drop them on ya. What? Are you kidding me? That's who y'all idolize. Just remember that. Just remember that. Shauna, have you not seen the feet? Have you not seen the conditions that woman has? She says her babies. I think her babies are grown, right? So unbelievable. As soon as I was given the go ahead from Sumner County Sheriff's Office, I started doing interviews. I don't even know why they told you guys not to do any interviews. See, that's what's weird. Since Sumner County told me not to do interviews. See, that's crazy, Seth. Yet they're sitting there saying, well, we don't tell anybody what to do. I mean, I would probably follow the instructions of law enforcement if they told me something like that. I mean, you were busy out searching too, Seth. So that's the thing. I mean, really, what you were doing is exactly what any parent would do, right? I mean, I will say this. If law enforcement said, look, I need you to stay at the house in case your kid comes back, I'm gonna stay at the house, right? I'm not faulting, Katie for that. But then she left, and then that's when I was like, oh boy, this is. And Seth, I'll never forget when you were on a Criming Shame channel and she's showing you that they took the decals off of their car, right? The car magnets with Sebastian's missing info on them in his picture. And then you were like, well, so did the Bauer socks. And I was like, so amazed. Like my jaw dropped to the floor. And I'm like, wait, what? Oh my gosh. Because I was kind of expecting you to be like, oh my gosh, really? Wow, that's crazy. But you were just like sitting there and you were like, yeah. And I guess they did too. And, it was like it wasn't a surprise to you because you kind of already had the 411, right? You knew about it. And I was just completely shocked that they would even do that. But then on top of it, that it's so like known, right? And then here it is, we're seeing it. Thanks to whoever's video that was. I mean, I don't even know. People were driving by there, Um, I'm someone who drove past the house and checked the neighborhood out, and wanted to check out the area. So Liberty says CB was good friends with Sonny's wife also. Oh yeah. I've heard that too. Liberty. Yeah. There's definite ties. I just think that, we need to untie them and be like, hey, there's more of us than there are of you guys, right? There's a lot of things that are going on and it shouldn't go on in a missing child's case. You guys need to get everything together, get it together, right? Whatever you need to do, get it together, you know? Yeah, it is. It is. Definitely. Ellie never tells parents that. Well, and they shouldn't have ever done that. They shouldn't have ever done it, you know? They shouldn't have. So, Shauna says, no, girl, I didn't watch them unless they get in my feed. Well, you remember that one time? The one time only. No, I'm telling. Well, I like Chronicles of the Shady is the person that put it out there, and oh my gosh, it was so funny because she played the song "Who Let the Dogs Out," and then it was multiple pictures. I can't believe that we look at our each other's feet like that's so gross. I'm sorry, and okay, so I do have to. I have to. I have to own my own role in this, right? Okay, so yes, I did see the videos. Yes, I did watch that video. And oh girl. And the thing is it's just it's horrible. It's horrible. No, and they're not lawyers. They shouldn't be giving any type of legal advice, Sassy. They really shouldn't. You know? They believed Katie's BS story for way too long. I think so too, Lover Girl. And that's why I wanted to show that earlier too, with the first 7 days search, because they were like it's so weird they had all of these resources coming out. All of them, these resources, all of them doing this, doing that. They're all over the area, you know. Even Bobby the neighbor was like, there were so many people, right? And they were looking in the wrong places, you know. Aw, thank you, Shauna. That LE literally were making sure Sebastian wouldn't be known about. And these are the conclusions that I hate to come to, Liberty, but the fact of the matter is it's true. In my opinion, there was so much crap that they were doing that almost makes it seem like they were helping to cover things up. And again, Ken Widener talking to the parents, quote unquote, and Seth is Sebastian's father, and he wasn't privy to those conversations. And there's no reason that he shouldn't have been, you know? Right. Well, and that's another thing too, you know? Thus the younger photos on the flyers, etc. They're protecting that family, not trying to find Sebastian from everything I see. Well, and of course, you know, I have to point to the TBI putting out the picture of Katie and Sebastian where they're having a great time and they're sitting on the same side of the booth and everything. We don't see that, do we? We definitely don't see that. So, yeah, the three-legged sword statement, exactly. With Elizabeth Smart, LE told them not to show the picture that her sister had sketched. Yeah, I do remember that. And you know, that's a really good case comparison. I've done a case comparison there, but there's so much to that case that is so similar. Not in the circumstance of, you know, how she left the house or how she got out of the house. She didn't leave, she was kidnapped. Um, just the way that things played out. But after they released the sketch, that was how they found her. Well, and that's the thing, Seth. It's so hard to, you know, what to share and what not to share, you know, and then at a certain point, um, it's hard to know because, I mean, that it could be that one thing. It could just be that one thing that sets everything, you know, over the edge. So, but there's too many instances here of interference from law enforcement. Yeah, I agree with that too. Yeah. Yeah, I know. Well, you know what really blew me away too is that Fox interview, and I say it's the Chris Just for Men interview, right? Um, because his hair is black, jet black, like he just dyed it black. And you know, the younger photos in the flyer were really bad, but then when you look at that video, I mean, none of those photos were pictures of Sebastian. They were, you know, well, I won't say none of them. There were a couple of him, but then there was a couple that you couldn't even see Sebastian in the photo. It was all these different people. And it was when he was very much younger. And it was very strange that they would put those pictures out, especially when we have these other handsome photos that we could put out of him, right? Um, so yeah, police always want the latest photos. Well, and I mean, it's really tough too because you don't expect to have to hand something like that over, and I get it. But, you know, they weren't putting out Sebastian's picture where he looks haunted. Of course, they're not going to do that. I mean, that was his 8th grade photo. So, you know, as far as I know, and in my opinion, he looked like, you know, he was pretty, you know, upset in that photo. But I think this photo would have been a good one to put out. And maybe he's, you know, a lot younger in this one. I don't think so though. He looks you know, pretty close to when he went missing. And then also I know that there's one too on this flyer, you know, that's on the FBI, right? But we know that was from his 15th birthday where he's wearing the hoodie, the gray hoodie. So, yeah, I mean, and that one's a cute picture of him. I remember seeing that one with the trophy. I'm like, oh, he's cute. Look at him. Look at that guy. Where is he? What happened to him? And then you start looking into his case and you're like, oh my gosh. You start listening to these interviews. Oh Lord, what the heck? It really? This is his mom acting this way. That's his stepfoot. What? What the heck? It's just so sad. How come they haven't done an age progression sketch? Seth talked about that Detroit when he was up on the panel, and they're supposed to do them like around the 2-year mark is usually when you can get um, missing and exploited children. I believe it is to do it, and they haven't done it. Unfortunately, they probably should. And we talked a little bit too because I know there were some AI photos out there, and I think that's going to help if they decide to use something like that. I think it could potentially be something good. Um, almost 2.5 years now, going on 2.5 years. So, what part is similar? Oh, sorry, you were asking Liberty. Sorry, Titch. I'm sorry. I got into your guys' conversation over there. Seashore Annie's daughter did a great sketch of Sebastian recently. Oh, okay. Really? I'll have to go over and check out her channel. So, yeah. Well, because I know I go and look over there from time to time too, or it'll pop up in my algorithm. All right, guys, we just have a little bit more of this.
And we are focused on talking about Sebastian and about his case. Burton Stagg's here. Burton, thank you so much for coming over. He says there's 2 similar cases. A Mississippi autistic teen was missing and found 9 days later in Tennessee. He walked. In Arizona, an autistic teen walked approximately 200 miles and was found safe. Incredible.
Are you looking to sell your house as is without paying for costly repairs, inspections, or expensive realtor fees?
Does he have a lot of energy? Does he like to go on long walks and things like that?
Especially off his medicine.
I really would like.
Okay, so Duchess says, does he like to go on long walks? And Katie says, especially off his medicine. Faking the crying is so obvious, Katie. You sunk your ship. Your battleship was sunk, Katie. Hate to break it to you, sister. Right there. I'm going to replay it. Because seriously, I wish I would have known this was the first interview and listened to this first.
We are focused on talking about Sebastian and about his case. Burton Stagg's here. Burton, thank you so much for coming over. He says there's 2 similar cases. A Mississippi autistic teen was missing and found 9 days later in Tennessee. He walked. In Arizona, an autistic teen walked approximately 200 miles and was found safe. Incredible. Does he have a lot of energy? Does he like to go on long walks and things like that?
Especially off his medicine.
Especially off his medicine. What kind of medicine? And there's no follow-up, by the way. But what kind of medicine was he taking then? Right? Because she says that, and if he's taking the ADHD medicine, right, and he's off of it, he might have more energy. I get that part, but then she doesn't talk about the fact that he takes sleeping medications and how that could play into the matter. She just says, especially off his medicine, that he'll just go walking for long distances. Like, it's such a lie, right? Because Sebastian when he didn't take the medicine, it's not like he's ever done this before. So that's such a big bull-faced lie. Hey, Coffee Crime and Cats, good to see ya. Such a bull-faced lie. She mostly posts shorts, and that's how I saw the sketch. Oh, okay. So okay, I see. So some people just do the shorts. What in the world does that mean? Yeah, I know, Sassy. It's weird, right? She's just like, especially off his medicine. Well, I guess I'm just guessing if it was for ADHD, but then again, like I said, that means that anytime he accidentally didn't take it right or skipped a dose or something like that, that he might do something like this. Especially, she goes, especially off his medicine. Does he have a lot of energy? Does he like to take long walks? And she says, especially. Ooh, I know, so awkward, right? She's like, Holly. But then again, I wonder what's going through her mind if she talked to them in earlier conversation. But I just have to say that I just think that, this was all, very known about and everything. But then again, you don't know what people are going to say when they're on your panel. You have no idea. You have no control over what they say on your panel. That's it, right? Um, so they could say something, right? And you're like, oh wow, I didn't expect that. And and I think that's where that came from, right? That awkward, you know, moment there.
I really would like to get a billboard up for Sebastian. And I think I had mentioned that to you earlier. Do you think that this might be something that would benefit Sebastian to get his face out there if we could get a couple of billboards? Guys, give me some feedback in the chat and let me know what you think. I might could, crowdfund. That's what membership is for. When you guys are members of this channel, that's actually where your money goes, is to these little crowdsourcing things that I do. So I have some money already put back that I can put forward to it, but I probably wouldn't be able to keep it up for more than just a few days because it can get expensive. But what do you guys think about that? Do you think, Trev, what are your thoughts about that? Do you think that having a billboard up for Sebastian might be beneficial?
I think so. I mean, it's, we've looked at that in plenty of cases, and you and I have spoken about that before. Talked with different families. It's, at the very least, it's keeping that face and that story in the public eye. It's keeping people reminded of what's going on in their community, what's going on locally, what's going on the next county over. Whether they work there, live there, travel through there, they're seeing it.
Well, I can certainly design a billboard. We can work together behind the scenes. You can send me a picture and let me know exactly what you would like it to say, and we can get something started on a blip as early as tomorrow. If you think that that's going to be something, I will look at the locations and I can let you know where they're at, and we can try to get something going. Well, thank you so much for sending me that, and I will definitely put it for the billboard because we need to help find Sebastian. Is there anything else that you guys want to share with us that you think that we need to know about the circumstances involving Sebastian going missing? Is there anything that you want to share with us that we have not talked about? I'm going to put a flyer again here so you guys can take another look at that.
I mean, everything that we've covered so far, is exactly everything that we've covered. We miss him and we want him home.
Exactly.
We're not going to be home.
Yes, Mary, that is true. There is.
Okay, guys, and that was very awkward, right? And I did cut off some of that awkward part because there was like a long awkward pause and silence there. Yeah, Sassy, they're so big on HIPAA laws, and they talk about his meds in the first interview. Right. And the thing is that not regular people are not bound to HIPAA. And thank you for spelling it or doing the acronym correctly, Sassy, because a lot of people don't. So if you're a medical professional, you're bound by HIPAA. Anybody else is not bound by HIPAA. Just so everybody knows that. Because, in this case, they really took HIPAA and misconstrued it. And, again, yeah, and Seth didn't believe in the meds. And, I could say I don't fault any parent for ever making a decision to give meds or to not, right? It's again up to the parents in the situation. Of course, you know, it's tough because the doctors are prescribing it, right? So I'm not a doctor, so I can't get up here and be like, no, I wouldn't do that, right? Or yes, I would. Um, but if a doctor told me that my child needed medication, I would, definitely try it or see what we could do, right? I think a lot of times people do use medications though, and I think it was, um, when I think Seth recognized that if he showed a little bit more patience, right, and he kind of knew what to do with Sebastian anyway. Obviously, he's his father, but that it goes a long way, right? And that's what's sad about Katie is that she never really wanted to do anything to work with Sebastian. In my opinion, she treated him like crap, and she let her husband do the same.
Is an anonymous group of Nashville business owners that have started a reward fund for Sebastian, and that is $3,000. So we want to thank those anonymous business owners for doing that. I did ask the family if there was any other reward funds that were going to be activated at this time, and there are not. And that's all they're going to say on that. How did they know he took a flashlight? Well, I asked that very same question today, and I was so glad that Sebastian's mother explained it to me, because when I read that news article, I was like, well, how did they know he had a flashlight? Do you want to tell us about that?
One of the first things that was asked is because he left when it was very dark outside, was if he might have taken a flashlight. And he actually has one that he plays with regularly, and I can't find it. So it's likely that he took it.
Okay. Jason asks, thank you for being here, Jason. Does he have anything that he holds on to? Anything that he has to have with him at all times? Something that keeps him calm when he has it?
He has various fidgets that he changes out and plays with.
Have you noticed any of those are missing as well?
Honestly, it'd be impossible to tell. He plays with paper clips and pennies and Legos, things that several could go missing and it wouldn't be noticeable.
If not tonight, then tomorrow, so we can get those billboards up. I will get with Crystal later, and we'll talk about that and try to get those worked out as soon as possible. Is there anything else that you want us to share? Is there anything else that you think that we have not covered? Whatever we can do to try to help your family, please reach out to me and let me know. And we have a wonderful group of people in this community that will try to do whatever we can. And hopefully I'll hear something from Wings of Hope, and they'll let me know if they're going to be able to try to assist. David Bryant, thank you so much for your super chat. He said, we're going to find him. Keep your head up and hug him tight when he gets back. Prayers for y'all. Everyone keep searching and doing what we can. David, I appreciate that. I'm going to take that $50 and I'm going to put it towards that billboard that I'm going to design. We're going to get that up for Sebastian as soon as we can. I really appreciate you donating. It means so much. Well, guys, I really appreciate you joining us. If you have any updates that you want to share with us, please don't hesitate to reach out. If there's something that you want to share, if you want me to have another live stream, you may want to have a live stream with Trev. He has a large following on his channel, and some of those people don't necessarily follow my stream. So I'm sure they might want to talk to you, and so we can continue to share out Sebastian's information, and you will be on my prayer list. If you need anything, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'll even share my phone number with you, and if there's anything that
Well, and Holly, that's a great point. Some of the medicine can make people feel like a zombie and just want to, bed rot, right, all day, and just, it can really take a toll on people. And it did me, when I took medications for PTSD. It was like, wow, it was a total change from my regular personality, right? And I did not like that at all. And I just don't like to have to be dependent on anything like that. But then again, again, I can't say that I fault anybody. If it works for somebody, it works for them. Whatever's working for you, do it. And therapy is huge, right? Because that helps us get over a lot of things. It's never going to go away, right? We can't run away from our problems, but what we can do is find tools to cope with things. And that's important. It's very, very important. So I'm a night owl too. Detroit. I know. I know.
If you need, you can call me.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Deep breaths. Deep breaths. It's just sometimes it's
okay, guys. Now just remember that Duchess told Katie to take the deep breaths because you know how she was doing that and she was rocking back and forth in the Pollyanna Thompson's video, right? When she interviewed them, that's what Katie was doing, is she was breathing in and out like that. Breathe, deep breaths, and she kept on doing it throughout the interview.
You got to take it a day at a time, but sometimes you can only take it an hour at a time or 5 minutes at a time. And you don't have to explain yourself to anybody because you don't know how you're going to feel until you're going through it. And how you process things is not necessarily going to be how the next person does. But you don't owe anybody an explanation. Just know that our hearts are with you. And you have a lot of people. Look at all of these people. We have 400 people watching this live stream right now. There are so many people that are out here supporting. Don't listen to these naysayers.
We just want to say thank you to everyone who's working with us to try and bring him home.
And everybody for all your support and your prayers and your love.
You are more than welcome. You are more than welcome. That's what we're here to do. Is we're here to lift each other up. It takes a village. It takes a village, and that's what we have to do. We're just here to help each other out. And I really just appreciate you being willing to come here and share Sebastian's story with us. And we'll be thinking of you and continuing to pray and share his information. And I'm going to let you guys go because you've been up here for over an hour, and I don't want to keep you any longer. I want you guys to go take care of yourself. Remember to take care of yourself. Make sure you're eating and getting enough rest and doing what you need to do to keep yourself going. Because it's not easy. It can't be easy.
It's not by any means.
Chris, you're a good man. You're being so strong for her, and that just it makes me feel emotional, because this has got to be so difficult. And it's just one day at a time. But I'm praying that you're going to get answers as soon as possible. You have a lot of people that are working very hard to find your son. Miranda said outside his home, where's his most comfortable environment? Does he have a place like that?
His house.
The only place he likes to be is just at his house.
He likes his house. He likes both houses, and he likes. His favorite thing to do is go play on the playground, and he likes to.
He loves being around the family. He loves, just being a kid.
He's not very outdoorsy.
Well, that's understandable. And listen, if he's walking, please check your property. He could be hiding out. He might be scared. He's probably going to be hungry and cold. What's your temperature? What's your weather there right now in Tennessee?
It was better today, but we've had freezing temperatures since he left.
Oh my goodness. Leslie says, remember, most people are good.
I just hope someone finds it.
Me too. Charlie Life says the family's trying to stay strong so they get this baby found. They really.
Okay, so Katie says, I hope someone finds him. Well, why don't you go look, Katie? And why haven't you looked this whole time? Why don't you go to the vigils? Why don't you do anything to find Sebastian? You hope someone finds him? Who's someone? You just, I mean, come on. Sometimes you got to be your own hero. Damn.
Don't have time to break down. That's right. You guys just keep praying. Listen, I'm going to let you guys go. And I will be in touch with you. Just text me tomorrow. We'll get.
Oh my gosh, it's awful. Shauna, I know. It's unbelievable. Why can't this be authentic, real? Exactly. Why? I mean, I feel nothing but contempt for Chris and Katie, right? It makes you want to perform Chinese torture. And that's not normal, okay? That's a very toxic, very, very toxic for me to have these feelings, right? But it's just very frustrating. Yeah, I'm the first to look at both sides too, girl. I know. We try to stay diplomatic. We try to stay balanced. We try to stay focused. We want justice and truth, right? And when you're somebody who's seeking out justice and truth, you do want to hear every side to the story, everyone's perspective, you know? And most of the time when we hear a mother of a missing child, we're our hearts are breaking with them. My heart breaks for Seth and with Seth, right? Because where is Sebastian and how can we find him? You know? And it's sickening. Aw. Shauna says, Sebastian Rogers, you are coming home. We will find you. And we're not going to stop, Shauna. We're going to find him. It's only a matter of time. And it's a very heavy burden to carry that they're carrying every single day. Think about how horrible it must be for them when they wanted to break up before all this anyway. And now they're stuck.
Together and we'll work on this billboard.
I bet you Chris didn't expect that either.
Get up. And I'll let you know the locations that are available for a blip billboard. And I'll try to get that arranged as soon as possible. If you need anything, just reach out to me and let me know.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. And I will put Trev in touch with you. Take care, guys.
Okay, guys, so right here, I wanted to show you this. The TBI narrative versus reality, right? This is what they put out and wanted us to think happened that night. This is what they wanted us to see and think the atmosphere, the environment, the conversation was the last time that Sebastian was seen, right? And he was seen leaving the Texas Roadhouse. We went over that earlier at about 6:25, 6:26, right? And so we have Katie doing the why. Her hand is up here, right? Palm towards the ceiling, asking Sebastian this. She's very pointed, and you can see he's very uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable. Right? Now he's just nonchalantly eating, right? He's focused on eating his food, but Katie's looking around very suspiciously. Very strange. Katie's a weird person, in my opinion. And then we have Katie again. All of her fingers are pointed towards Sebastian, thumb down, pointed. Her body language is pointed towards Sebastian. And Sebastian looks very nervous. Again, looks like he's in trouble, right? And this is, again, Katie. All fingers are together now, but in the same position as these. Again, you can see it. And she's very pointed, and Sebastian's very nervous. Here, here, and here. This is the fantasy. This is the bullshit. This is the reality. This is the reality. Sebastian feeling defeated, feeling horrible after whatever was told to him. You heard it here on the panel, Seth saying to everyone, he said it. Sebastian looked nervous. Sebastian looked like he was being told something he didn't want to hear, and it made him nervous, right? He said much more than that. I don't have the direct quotes, but definitely go and listen to what Seth had to say. Listen to the beautiful song that he wrote for his son. This is Lady Freedom's Raw Narratives. Lady Freedom is on panel. Oh. Okay. Yeah, I have no idea who that person is, Witchy. I'm sorry. All right, guys. Tonight's been like a really weird night. I can't get my StreamYard working for the panel. So I'm probably gonna get down. Shauna says, right. I find it hard to keep my integrity in check with this one. Hence the pissy pants. But if the pants are pissy and you're Chrissy, you better get to that corner. That's hilarious. Oh my goodness. Yes, Sassy. Seth did write a song. He did. And he let us play it on the live the other day. So, but he wrote all the words to the song. Definitely go check it out. It was really sweet. I could not stop crying, that's for sure. Um, melted my heart, broke my heart, all in the same time. Just the lyrics were beautifully written and right from the heart. And that's what we get with Seth. I mean, yeah, you know, Seth is, has a good sense of humor about himself and about life in general. But Shauna, I'm telling you what, it's hard for me to be at a loss for words, but it's hard for me to talk when I'm bawling my eyes out too, so. I know it's sad, huh, Bama? It is sad. It's sad because we see what was put out and what they wanted us to believe, and then what's the reality really is, and the reality is there's been no charges. The reality is that Sebastian hasn't been found, and time is just ticking by. So, oh, Shauna, I know. Oh, I know. Shauna says, yes, he does. Yes, he does. Good man, great father. Yeah. And, the thing is that nobody's perfect. There is no perfect parent, there is no perfect person, but we can all just try every day to be a better person, right? And to do the right thing. And when you're so far into something like this whole mess, it's really a bad position to be in, especially if you're Chris and Katie, but more so if you're Sebastian, because in my opinion, it's only a matter of time before these people get what's coming to them in terms of justice, right? I wish it was more swift. I wish it was something that, I could tell you it's going to happen in a week, but I can't do that. I wish I could. I can't. But all we can do is really share the flyer, share awareness, keep digging into these interviews. We have to, you know. So we'll definitely keep doing that here. And I need to get some good content out to the war room as well. So yeah, and that's it, Liberty. Seth has the heart and soul connection and bond to Sebastian that a mother usually has. Well, and I think a lot of that came from, Katie having to be deployed and things like that, boot camp and things, for the military. And I always tried to stay very open in that and balanced, because I think to my, again, I'm not here to tell anybody how to raise their kids or to structure their family, right? whatever the way that works for them best is the way that they should do it, right? If it's not broken, don't fix it, right? And if don't mess with it. If things are running smoothly, by God, let them run smoothly, right? Don't cause any extra issues that aren't necessary. But again, it's just I think that's why. I think that because Katie did decide to take that job, that we see more of a closer relationship with Seth and Sebastian, because Katie did, take her, her career would take her places, and she wasn't always home. So, um, Sassy, I'm gonna download it because if I haven't got a chance to watch it and I wouldn't go in blind. I know we usually will do like a late live, but I am so exhausted. Um, so I'm so sorry, Sassy, but I appreciate you sending it to me. I am so exhausted tonight. And again, I need to put a ticket in to StreamYard and see why it was booting people off the panel tonight. Sometimes when they're doing updates and things like that, stuff like that will happen. Um, so Yeah, well, you do have to give a little bit of grace sometimes, right, Witchy? Like, I don't want to be like, oh my gosh, it's all brimstone and fire, but it's important to recognize those types of things, right? Like, it's important to have the conversation. But I do try to stay a little bit diplomatic on things like, okay, well, I could see how this might be the case. I don't always want to think the worst. It looks like 2 different people to listen to cry and then catch her attitude in the restaurant. Wow. Yeah, yeah, Katie does flip from back and forth with personalities. I think we all have our, personality changes, right? We might be shy in front of people we don't know and different things like that. And then once you get to know us and blah blah blah, I'm not talking about that sort of personality change. It's odd with Katie. Like she tries to be a chameleon and, like get in where she fits in. And she did, Sassy. She had that's another thing that you have to, consider. They call them mitigating circumstances or mitigating factors, right? In court. But I think it's fair to consider some of that. But then again, a lot of times too, I think like a lot of us had a rough childhood. So, but that doesn't cause for us to do. But then again, everybody deals with things differently. And again, I'm not standing up for anybody but Sebastian. I mean, it all has to be examined and looked into. And I'm glad that we can do that here, and I really enjoy us doing it. So, yeah, it was just rough. It was horrific. Yeah, I mean, that's it too. That is true. I mean, Witchy, from what I know about it, which I would never repeat here. That's not, I will not do that. It doesn't matter how much I disagree with or despise her behavior, right? Because I do. Like I said, it makes me want to perform Chinese torture, right? Resisting the urge to turn into Denzel Washington from Man on Fire. When he's trying to look for that little Lupita, she's he's definitely using the tactics, right, of interrogation that are guaranteed to produce results. Okay, but they are highly illegal, and plus, I don't think I can stomach it. But in the same way, it crosses my mind, right? Because it's like, tell us the truth, and our intelligence has been insulted. But luckily for us, we were able to see it quicker than some of these people. Some of these people, they've totally um in my opinion, made them look really, really silly. I mean, a lot of people. So that's right. Exactly. And that's why, Sassy, I cannot believe in a million years that she didn't have something to do with it, right? Because obviously it was under her watch. And again, it's still so odd with this lights video, right? We have the lights video. They don't want to show us all of it. Even on America's Most Wanted, they're not showing us everything. you know. They're showing us half the lights video. So, well, guys, I love you all so very, very much, and I so appreciate you guys joining the discussion about Sebastian. We're going to keep things rolling. Sassy, thank you so much. I'm going to download that interview. Um, because I appreciate you working on that and all your hard work and everything that you do, because you do a lot. And you've been a big part of Sebastian's case, just researching and everything. It's just great awareness. It's so important, guys. Those are the things that we can do all together, and it makes such a big difference. Like it makes all the world of difference, I promise. Even if we don't see the fruits of our labor right away, right, we'll see it, and it'll be great once it all comes together. And we can only do that together. We can't do it alone. On our own, we're nothing. Together, we can do great things. Uh, Shauna says, because we are the mothers that would lift the bus. That's why. Yeah, I know, Shauna, you got it. However, we don't know how one grieves uh, uh, until again the truth reveals. Well, and the thing is that I just think that Katie and Chris have really gotten themselves in way too deep, and they were in too deep from the moment they concocted this crazy plan for whatever they did, whether it was to put Sebastian in the school or to do something more sinister. They've absolutely put themselves in a real pickle, because nobody believes them and their story stinks to high heaven. Anybody that hears it, when I tell people there's a video of at 3 a.m. of some activity in the neighborhood and the police were saying it was a trash truck, people look at me like I'm nuts. And the one guy I interviewed on the street when I was handing out Sebastian flyers, which I need to do that again. I need to go live and do that here in Florida. He said that ain't no trash truck. He's like, that is not no trash truck at 3:30 in the morning, 3:15. No, right? Because no trash trucks come through the neighborhood at that time, and they certainly aren't going to go through the common area. There was no way they could fit a trash truck through there because of that huge ditch. You know? Yes, exactly, Sassy. It's so important. It is so important. We'll show it tomorrow night on Night Court. Um, and again, I did want to let you guys know that we have that special show on Saturday. So I'm super excited for that. Where we're going to do a case study on Sebastian with Darvo. And I think it's a good one, especially with everything that we're seeing and the way that they were blaming Sebastian. Um, the person who really pointed that out first, in my opinion, was the late great Peter Hyatt, and thank God he did it, right. And he also told us that Katie holds the key, and that you don't look for something that you know where it is, right. If your keys are missing, you're not, or if your keys aren't missing and you know where they are, you're not going to look for them. It just goes for anything. It's across the board. So the truth has been revealed. Well, exactly, Shauna. This is the thing. We have watched things play out, and there were certain points in time where we didn't know for sure, but I do believe that a lot of the truth has been revealed, and I think it's going to continue to be revealed, you know. Thank you, Witchy, for dropping the link for Jennifer Aaron. She's amazing. She's a great gal, and I'll tell you, just a wonderful friend, and does so well in the book. Like I said, if you know someone who needs it, definitely buy a copy for them. It's got a whole workbook and everything in there. Or if you yourself have ever gone through it, it's very healing to read it. It doesn't matter how long ago it was that you went through it, or if you're still going through it, you know? So, oh, Liberty, she is definitely a master manipulator. Absolutely. Absolutely. And, again, Yeda talked about that too, right? And we did a whole, live stream. Yeda said, what? you know, because it was interesting that she said Katie loves to manipulate people and she's very good at it. All right, guys. Well, I love you all so very, very much, and I appreciate you sticking around and coming in for Sebastian's conversation today. And I'm going to do a live stream tomorrow afternoon, but we'll reconvene at night court to do Nina's interview. All right, guys. Well, I love you all, and I appreciate you so much, and I'll see you all next time.